Here we are with another Saturday Night Live, February 8th, 2020. I keep shaking my head, 2020, my goodness gracious. I remember when I was a kid thinking about the year 2000. Now we're
Yeah,
in 2020. It's pretty interesting how time goes. But yeah, we're just talking about the snow, was it, Steve? I just lost my train of thought. And how I was looking back at previous years, you know, before go outside, bundle up, as warm as you possibly can. Now, just go out in my shorts and t-shirt. People look at you like you're from another planet, but
oh yeah.
it's very invigorating. I got my mother 2 houses away, so I'm running back and forth all day. I don't get dressed anymore. I just go out in my shorts, shovel snow and stuff, and it's very nice, very invigorating. Uh, once you do it, you practice it over and over. You start getting used to it, um, especially when you're continuously, consciously practicing breath work. I don't go in to do the Wim Hof or anything. I just go out there. It's all the state of your intent and emotion. When you work with things, you'll get stronger with them. That's all it is. There's days I'm sure all of you have experienced where you just can't get warm. There's those days that it's one of those cold days, and that happens occasionally, and especially when you're detoxing, the fasting, mass fasting, you're gonna get that. But as time goes on, they get less and less. And the cold is your friend. It's your warm friend, as Wim Hof says. It really is a wonderful experience, and we take advantage of it. For those of us who live in the colder climates, if you're living in the really hot climates, you're gonna have to be creative in how to do the cold baths or whatever. Maybe you can find a cold spring or some ice baths or something, but it's really invigorating. Very nice. Um, I remember.
We used to go whitewater rafting in New York in March, 35-degree water.
Nice. Did you
Yeah, that was nice. It's cold as hell.
did you wear any
You
wet
get used to it.
dry suit or anything?
Yeah, you have to wear a wetsuit.
Yeah, yeah, you get used to it. Um, but key is to have patience, persistent consistency in anything we do. Um, this is what I've past 30 years of most people I'm just not going to do it. Life's too important to be sick in pain and misery. So it's sad to say, but I've watched so many people perish in the 30 years of being involved in a clean eating, fasting lifestyle. Just you want to help people and this and that, and they just can't leave their food alone. There's just no way they're going to change, and they're not around. A lot of them are not around anymore. God bless them all. We all have free will to do as we please, how we want to live and how we want to die. But
Yeah.
um, life is beautiful if we focus on the beauty and continue to do that. Um, there's so much ugly around. The more we focus on the ugly, the more we're going to see it. So cold.
Oh,
People are misery are complaining it's too cold and too much this and that. Yeah, our winters are long. I would like to have them shorter, but take advantage of it, enjoy it, use this as therapy. It's awesome. Um, it really is. It's not as quick as the cold water dips, ice water dips, because water extracts heat from the body way faster than air. I don't know how many times exactly, but it's a lot faster. But if you stay out in minus 15, 20 degrees, you're going to feel it. Don't worry, in a few minutes. So if you're living in the cold climate, take advantage and use it as therapy. Just a little bit at a time. Um, Extend your times, and then when you come inside, warm yourself up, get warmed up, and you'll see the body will start building heat from that. Um, Sometimes you may get into shivers if you stayed out too long, so make sure you warm yourself up properly, and that'll be great.
There you go.
Hi, Elaine, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I hope that's not me with the feedback.
No, I think it's me because
So,
I'm
on two different.
Go ahead. I muted you, Steve.
okay. So I'm walking a picket line right now, and I'm having a really difficult time with the cold because I'm out there for 3 hours.
Yeah,
It's painful. Do you have any tips? Like my feet go numb, my hands go numb, and then I seem to lower my tolerance for the cold.
Yeah, one sec. I gotta stop this. Rana's computer here. It's echoing here too. I don't know if there's a problem with it. Elaine, like I was saying, especially when you're starting off in this lifestyle, I froze for the first 2 years when I started way back. Like literally in the summer, I'd be shaking of cold. I'd have to put jackets on with a little bit of wind and stuff. And it took time to adjust to that and so on and so forth. But to build tolerance to cold, basically do what Wim Hof does, use the cold. And, like cold showers, alternate hot and cold, end with cold. And do it as long as you possibly can, tolerate it, get used to that. And then after you come out, warm yourself up. And by drinking teas, if you have to use a hot water bottle, if you're doing these long picket lines, I don't know how long a hot water bottle would last, but it would probably last a little while if you put it inside your coat to help you out. I used to use that some nights. I just could not warm up. No matter blankets, the core was cold. I would get 2 hot water bottles and they would last me most of the night and it would help me warm up. Saunas, and then you do cold after, always end with cold. So you're doing that. Hands and feet is one that's really tough for a lot of people. Myself, I've always had cold hands and feet. A quick way to bring warmth is to get a pail of hot water, as hot as you can tolerate it, and one of cold. And you put your hands in one of each, and then you alternate. You just, you leave it as long, comfortable, and then you alternate, and you'll see really fast heat going towards the extremities. And you can do it with your feet as well. But when you're staying out those lengths of times, you're not used to it. You got to just prepare for it. But train yourself with these tips and techniques. There's always been a debate about if you should drink warm liquids and stuff or whatever. But so they say that the warm liquids cool you off and the hot liquids warm you up. The cold liquids warm you up and the hot liquids cool you off. But I don't know. It's always nice to have a warm drink. You can warm up juice or whatever. But breath work, of course. If you're going to do like a marathon, like 3 hours, try the Wim Hof type of breathing for those kind of things. Are you doing this daily?
2 days a week for 3 hours.
2 days in a row?
No, Tuesday and Thursday of next week.
Okay, so you have a break. Good.
Yeah, it's going to be cold those 2 days. I think.
Dress up warm. See if you can get some hot water bottles in you to help, for a little bit at least. And do the best you can. Just make sure you wear a hat where you lose heat. But try the Wim Hof breathing before you go out, and do that. It takes a while to build tolerance to cold. It's not going to happen overnight. So you're going to just have to do the best you can. especially when it's really cold. Do they have build any fires?
No fires, no. I've just been going into Tim Hortons a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
do the best you can, but try with the few tips of the cold showers and so on and so forth. And if you have access to a sauna, and then end with cold, we need to shock the body a little bit in a good way, and to be able to resist these things, because we've all lived a cushy life with heated winters homes, and cooled summer homes. So we're not used to this anymore. I remember, just to go for my mother's, I used to bundle all up. And I'm going, what a waste of time. So the more you work with the cold, the more invigorated and better you'll feel. Stand for 3 hours all at once, it's tough. It's tough. I remember going ice fishing a few times. The first time I went with steel toes, and that was a big mistake. I was young. I didn't know any better. Man, oh man, I thought I was going to lose my feet. You don't want to be doing that.
No.
So
I felt like that on Thursday, Gino. I was cold on Thursday.
dress in layers and stuff, and just do that. Move around as much as you can, walking and so on and so forth. Keep everything moving, and that's the best you can do. You're lucky it's only 2 days. Maybe if you had to be every day, it'd be too much to start off with. Way too much. 2 days a week, you should be able to work with that, and do the best you can in that situation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How long is that strike going on for? Any idea?
No idea. No idea. It could be a long time.
Is this because of the provincial premier stuff, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bureaucrats, they make our lives better.
That's right. Now I have an opportunity to practice cold therapy. Thank you.
That's awesome. How you doing otherwise?
I'm doing really well. So I just did 48 hours dry.
Awesome.
And I just felt like I really needed a little drink. So I just had a cup of juice, and now I'm going to carry on for the next 24.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we train ourselves. If we're having a difficult time, go into a semi. We hear a lot of stuff out there. We don't care what we hear, because we know what works. Semi-dries are powerful. If you can't do a full dry, what are you going to do? Not do any dry? So we go into the semi-dry, and we can extend the benefits of the dry, because when you're doing small amounts of liquids, and you're already into a dry, it's you're still in a dry feeling, and it's awesome to work with that. The tinctures also, doing small amounts of tinctures. Just be careful the tinctures. You don't want to do too much on dry, because they will dry you out if you do too much of them. But this is the way we do it. Many people couldn't do even 24-hour dry, and they're able to do 3, 4, 5, 6 days now, after training themselves for a couple of years. It's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the way I did it, little by little. I did it. First 3-day drive was, holy jeez, it was like I was gonna die. And didn't happen overnight to do 9, 10, 11, 12 days. It's just little by little. It's the physicality, but it's also a big part is the belief system. The physicality is not ready because of its inability to properly hydrate itself, because it's overwhelmed with obstructions. But as you start cleaning out, you'll be able to extend a little more, and that's what we want to do over time, taking our time, not rushing, not pushing, but allowing it to organically expand and you will learn to love the dries more and more and more. It's a beautiful state to be in when you're in a dry for a few days and you're feeling freaking amazing. It's just a beautiful place to be. When you're off, but they pass if you use the tools and do certain things and breath work and acupressure points and so on and so forth with burn stick. You'll come over that. You'll get through it pretty quickly. You can turn it around with an hour or two most of the time, and then you're feeling great again. And that's all we can do, and just keep working with it over and over and over again, and expand. It's no rocket science here. It's just being prudent on what we're doing and understanding. I've watched over the years a lot of people doing dry fasting with many different types of diets, and it's really hard on the body when you're especially eating an obstructive diet, because I've tried it myself. You don't get benefits of dry fasting unless the GI tract is cleaned out. This is very clear, very obvious from, for me, it's when did I start? It's about 6 years almost, I think, dry fasting. I don't remember now. It's been a while, but having watched thousands of people and so on and so forth, and getting glimpses of what other people are doing, you got to work on cleaning that GI tract. Dry fasting, some people are doing 16, 18 hours a day, and then they're eating an obstructive meal. I'm seeing it's putting a lot of stress on the body. It's not prudent fasting. Master fasting, the whole structure is very, very prudent, as you all understand. It's not difficult for anybody to understand what we're doing, right? We're drying, we're washing, we're drying, we're washing, like a dirty sponge. That's all we're doing. And we're doing it over and over and over. That's the lifestyle. And we got to continue to do that, because if we don't, then we're working on filling up the sponge of whatever, right? Obstructions. And we're not giving it a chance to wring it out and wash it out. And we know where that's going to get us. It's not going to be a good place. So, keep working at it little by little, day by day. And,
yeah, I made an observation. So last month I did 72 hours, no problem. But I did 5 days MFS to prepare. This time I only did 2 days MFS, and I started to run into difficulty around 48 hours. And I think because maybe I wasn't as cleaned out. So
yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. If you eat obstructive meals, you're going to see the dry fasts are going to be more difficult and more shocking to the body, because the GI tract is full. The energy is going there because the body's going, what's this stuff doing in here? I need to work on this. It can't work on going back to blueprint. It doesn't work. I have not seen it in 30 years. It's when this is cleaned out is when we start seeing that real magic start happening. And we've seen it over and over and over with all of us. So that's the key. It's so simple. We work on cleaning the GI tract and living in a way where we're not building that back up. We're always working on keeping it clean, maintaining in a clean sense, eating enough that we're not going to build, and enough fasting that we're able to keep it clean. Because if you eat 6-7 days a week, it's just too much food. Too much food.
mm-hmm.
2 days a week fasting is absolute minimum to be able to live on a de-obstructive lifestyle versus an obstructive lifestyle. It's absolute minimum. For some people, depending on what they eat, 2 days will be too much of eating. And but we can't just start living on 1-2 days a week of eating. You got to work with it, and it's going to take the time it takes. And who cares how long it is? We're always progressing, as you're experiencing. We're always progressing. Little by little, we get better and better and better. Yeah, we have times where we're not feeling great, and we got to work on that and purging. And then we come out of that, and we get stronger. We come out stronger because we've purged at a new level. We've stripped a new layer of obstructions that were deeper. We go in reverse as the way we've obstructed. So the stuff we've eaten the last few years was the stuff that's going to be eliminated first, and the stuff that we've eaten from when we were in our mother's belly, that's going to take time to get to that. And that's it. We work backwards slowly, and it's awesome. Sarah's joined us. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
What's happening?
I'm at work right now. So
Working.
I know. I'm still a mucus factory.
We can hear.
I'm still so clogged up and like it's in my nose and keep coughing stuff up.
Awesome. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it flowing.
Yeah.
Work with all the channels, you know what I mean, and just keep them going, because this is a great time that the body it goes into its purge state on its own because it was just overwhelmed, and it's able to it goes into that state because it has the energy to go into that state. The body needs energy to get into that state, and people look at it as sickness. No, it needs energy, and the only time you go into that state when you're a point, beyond repair or whatever, is when you're so obstructive and the body it puts out its last bit of energy to try and save itself, but it gets overwhelmed by the obstructions and you cease to exist. And that happens usually in the older people when they get their wonderful shots and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
body cannot handle it. It just puts it over the top. But when the colds and flus, these are times really to jump for joy, embrace it. It's not fun. It's not pleasant to be in this situation, but they pass and we come out stronger, always. So
My daughter right now, I'm pretty sure she has an ear infection.
Steve, see you, Steve. Steve's got to go.
Bye. My daughter gets like ear infections all the time, and I can tell she has one right now. And so she seems like me right now, but she has a really high fever. And I'm just like trying so hard not to like give her something, but.
Onion juice works in the ears, fresh onion juice.
Oh, really?
Try that, a couple of drops, 2-3 drops in each ear. Also, do you have any turpentine?
I think I do, actually.
Gum spirits, you can rub it around the ear on the outside. And
okay. Just like on a washcloth?
Yeah, on your fingers. Just put a few drops.
Oh, my finger.
Just rub it in.
Okay.
On the throat area, because the throat, nose, mouth, ears are all connected. You can rub it on the throat. If she will allow you to do enemas, that would really help her.
No, well, even if my kids their dad would like freak out if I even tried, unfortunately.
Give them a senna tea. Would they drink a herbal tea?
No.
No?
They won't drink it.
Put syrup in it?
I could try that, but like anything that's not in their norm of their repertoire of what they're so picky about.
Do they eat smoothies?
Yeah.
Okay, put the tea in the smoothie.
Oh, never thought about doing that.
You gotta be creative. Don't give them that every day. Senna teas are strong, but we want them to move, right? So maybe like once at the most, twice a week, and I wouldn't use it very often. For a short period, just to get over that, because you got to purge. You got to purge. There's obstructions. The body's obstructed, and if you don't start moving things, it's just going to be more suffering, and it's not fun. Not a fun place. Ear infections are not fun.
Well, yeah, now that like I understand all this now, I just feel so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, both of you too. Like both my kids are so obstructed, and I feel like so helpless about, you know,
Yeah, go on
people
the
to.
acupressure point site and use points of ear, nose, throat, on her. Just need to move energy, get her
Yeah,
things moving. Um, it's really sad, and we're in a society where you feed your kids McDonald's and inject them with drugs and so on and so forth, and it's okay. You can kill them, no problem with that way. But you want to feed them raw fruits and vegetables, and fast them naturally because there's no appetite. You're going to jail.
I know, right?
It's just okay. It's insanity, and the masses of society go along with it because that's what we've all been conditioned for. Until we wake up and we see the light and go, what the hell are we doing to our kids? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Um, it's just extreme ignorance, extreme ignorance. Um, the natural healthy ways are coming back, but it's a challenge for everyone. Like my parents, both of them, they when they were sick as little toddlers, their parents, my grandparents, gave them enemas first thing when they got sick.
Oh
First
wow.
thing. So this is not something new. Enemas go back in the Egyptian times, thousands of years. You wash your face, you shower outside. We're washing inside. It's no difference. You want to clean, and it's people look at it like it's from another planet. It's okay, sure. Enemas are like I've said this so many times. If we put a colon therapist, a few of them, in all the emergency wards in the hospitals would go bankrupt.
Because they wouldn't have any patients.
They'd be going home after their colonic, of course. There's no
Yeah.
reason for them to stay in the hospital. No, we're
That
not
totally
going to do
makes
that.
sense.
You're joking. No. We need the funding. We need to keep you in the bed. We need to inject you with drugs. We need to feed you our crappy food and so on and so forth. And the story goes. So, only thing we can do is talk to people who are open about it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. 3 decades, not much has changed, guys. I've been doing this 3 decades. In some ways, we see it. People are, still in the dark ages, and then in other ways, we start seeing people being awakened and enlightened, and it's awesome to see that. But it's every angle we move in the natural type of the way of living, there's challenges. There's challenges in every direction, with herbs, with people want to use vitamins and minerals, with certain types of treatments that people do, like simple things like ozone, acupunctures, the chiropractor, massage. There's always challenges and struggles to do things naturally. You want to, be a doctor and support the pharma cartel? No problem. Where they back you 100%. And you can kill as many people as you like. No problem. License to kill.
No, it's so backwards.
Yeah. So it is what it is. People can believe whatever they like. Our experiences show us that all these scientific studies are not even worth the paper they're written on. All these studies they do on drugs and this and that, and what do they call them? When they put the drug through a test, what do they call that again?
Oh, like the trials?
Trials, that's the word. When
Yeah.
they don't mean anything. They can't reproduce a trial twice. In Canada, to pass a drug, it costs $1 billion. one drug.
Oh, wow.
And they have to have 2 trials that are at least 51% better than the placebo. 51%, that's it. We'll get to you, Kurt. Let me just finish. But they don't have to disclose how many trials they did to get 2 trials to become 51%. So if they ran, let's say, 10 trials or 30 trials, they only have to disclose the 2 that were 51%. All the other ones could have been failures. And the
Oh my God.
drug gets passed. This is the ludicrousy of the drug system. And people
Oh my
line up
God.
to go buy these drugs, right? Go ahead, Kurt.
How do they test like psychiatric drugs?
I think it goes through the same trials.
So like, are they testing them on humans before they?
Well, they maybe have to go through an animal trial. I'm not 100% sure, but then there has to be a human trial. Like there's commercials in the Toronto area. Once in a while, you hear of drug companies wanting people to go do drug trials, and they pay you $3,000-4,000, and it lasts whatever 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever, and they pay people for that. The drug companies will pay you to go to experiment on you, and people line up for these because they pay. And people go for them. So these are the trials that we're talking about. So they have to do this over so many periods of time and with so many people, and they only have to produce 2 at 51% or better than the placebo. So this is what we're talking about. I don't buy any of their trials and experiments. It's all one-sided, backed up by the dollar sign. They will never, ever put a ozone in a trial, herbs in a trial. Anything you cannot patent will never, ever go through a trial because it costs $1 billion. You can't patent it. How are they going to make their money back? First of all, if somebody would do ozone, for example, the Asians would be awesome because I know I have a personal friend. I can tell you the story offline one day. It works amazing. It's one of the few isolates I like because it's in a plasmatic state. I love ozone. And if somebody were to do that, how long do you think they'd be able to make money with it? Because you start getting results with people, and people are not going to be returned customers. So when are they going to make their $1 billion back? Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. So it's never going to happen with this structure of what we have laid out in most places with big pharma. It's just not going to happen. I don't see it happening until the people demand it and change things. We have to change. Corporations aren't going to do it. The bottom line is number one. First priority for a corporation is bottom line, to make a profit, not safety of people, not anything else. And it's bottom line is they have to make money. And there was an article in the U.S. I can't remember what year, but it was early 70s or 60s, that they were not allowed to make profit for healthcare, and one of the presidents changed it and allowed corporations to profit, and that's when everything went cuckoo with these pharmaceutical companies because they're able to profit. There shouldn't be able to have any profit, anything to do with making a profit for people's health and safety. This shouldn't be allowed. It should be all done more or less on like a kind of voluntary basis and structures and so on and so forth with the power of the people, because ultimately it's the power of the people anyway. The tax dollars pay for all these things anyway. So it could work. It's just things have to be restructured, and many, many wonderful, amazing ideas that people have laid out on a new way. But ultimately, with these healthcare systems that we have, every man, woman, child should be able to make their decision on which way they want to be helped in whether it's natural or whether it's with big pharma. The choice should be to the individual, not the system forcing you to go that way. And for most people, when they're in a situation that they're ill, they don't have money, and they're left with, like in Canada, they're left with their only option they see themselves is going through the big pharma system. And then meanwhile, they're, wanting to do some natural stuff or whatever, and they just can't see themselves because of finances or whatever. It's not that we don't pay for our services in Canada. We do through tax dollars, big time, but we don't see the money being laid out when something happens. It's like paying insurance premium every paycheck. So yeah. So how's it going, Kurt?
I'm on my weekly fast, and I'm going to start my dry this evening.
Awesome.
I did 48 last month. Yeah, I like to do the moons. I kind of keep my weekly or my 2 days on the moon phases. But I did 48 last month. I'm going to just probably do 36 because it was a push, and I've really been contemplating, like, initially it was, let's do level 2 to get to do a fast, and now it's like I'm in no rush because I'm not seeing a plateau on level 2. Eventually in the next few months I could see, going deeper, maybe 3-4, but my mentality is just less focus on how much fasting or less eating, and just finding a long-term balance.
Yeah, don't you've done 48, so don't cut yourself short and say, I'm only gonna do 36. Leave it open. Just go with it. See how you feel. You may be able to go 48 or more. Every fast is different. There's no two fasts alike. There's some fasts that are just like, okay, and then other ones are, challenging. So you just go with it. And it always goes back to what we're eating, If the heavier we were eating, the more challenging usually the fast will be. Not always, sometimes because we're digging really deep and, staying with clean eating, we're just stripped another layer, and we're going to have to deal with that. And that's okay. It's good. But, we never know what's going to happen. Don't downplay yourself for anything. Just allow it and, open up. I think it was Elaine that was a few weeks ago. She wanted to break the fast. I said, just allow it. And then she went longer, right? I think it was you, Elaine.
Yeah, it was me. So it was last month, and I just didn't think it was humanly possible for me to do 72 hours. And you and Rana encouraged me to push.
Well, not push, allow.
Allow, not push.
An aggressive allow.
That's right. And I did 72, no problem. And this month is different. So this month I switched to semi-dry, and then I did have a full cup of juice, which I know isn't even on the dry protocol. But I'm going again for another 24 hours after my 1 cup of juice.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I don't know what happened to your computer.
It doesn't record.
No, it had an error, so I don't know. I don't know apples.
Sorry, guys. How are you?
Hi, Rana.
Hello. How is everyone? I'm late.
Excellent.
Looking it and loving it. Yep. Cool.
Ariel's joined us. Hello, Ariel.
Hi, Ariel. How are you doing,
Suzanne.
Ariel? It's been a while. Sarah, are you at work?
Yeah, she's at work.
Yeah, I'm at work.
You work on Saturdays?
No, not normally because it's a school day, but I was doing a private evaluation for somebody. So, because if your school evaluates you and then you don't agree with the results, you can ask them to like pay for a second opinion. And so I'm the second opinion. That like somebody contacted me and wanted me to do it for them. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, what's going on, everybody? Uros,
Hey everyone,
what's going on?
I'm doing my weekly. Everything's great. Been like really on the edge these few days since the first quarter fast I did. I mean, I do my weeklies on the moon phases. I really like doing that. And um, I was just like thinking about how I don't want to be involved with bodily pleasures, you know. I just want to commit to and devote to, you know, like the spiritual path, you know.
Man, oh man, the youngster like you?
Bravo.
That's awesome.
Bravo.
Yeah, thanks. But I realized like eating has to go. So
Like completely?
yeah,
Be easy on
because
yourself.
Wow.
because yeah, I can't do that. I need to sustain my life, right? And I can't stop eating. And I also sorry.
Yeah, I was saying that you want to get used to, enjoying both fasting and eating. It does take time, and you just have to be patient with yourself. At some point, I would say honestly, after 1 month of committing, it does feel like, okay, I got it. I'm only eating for pleasure. Simple.
Yes, but
If you
I think that is the problem because I don't like pleasure. I, I'm running away from pleasure like for
Yeah,
a
but
long
yeah,
time
but
now.
yeah, but why do you have to run away? Let it
Why
go.
we're in this realm to
Yeah.
enjoy the pleasures of this realm.
I mean, you can let things go.
I agree to disagree.
Yeah, you can I mean, it's not about that. I mean, I love also, I really love sacrificing. I feel life is not for me, I feel like without sacrificing, life is not enough for me. I want
Yes, that
I
was
know it does give me,
that exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, or so right, because eating has to go away for me to completely 100% devote to God. I would also have to become so MFS would have to go away as well because I enjoy the juice and tea and you know, plasma pudding and everything.
Yeah.
So I would need to become a breatharian. I would need to stop working. So I would need to become a cold resistant non-sleeping breatharian so I could sustain my life. And I can see that happening overnight, right? It's a long process. So I was like stuck. What am I gonna do? So I was like asking the questions, like, is it okay to, yeah, I don't know, leave this body? Like, and I kind of like really.
Every night you're sleeping?
Of course. He's eating.
Well, not every night.
Drinking.
Not every night.
You don't
I
sleep
try
every
to.
night?
No, I try to sleep like very limited and, you know, be active and so on. I remember when I was doing my first MFS, like I was really stoic, if you know what I mean. I was like jogging like 4 hours every day, and I had a rule not to lay down once I get up from bed. So I was sleeping on my MFS, at least when I was, you know, on my wet days. On the dry days, like I hardly had any sleep, but like on my wet days, I had a rule. Once I get up from bed, I would not lay down till I had to go to sleep. So I would be active all day. You know, I was all standing like all my wake hours and doing, you know, the moving my body and so on. It was very physical, planting trees, digging the icy dirt here in Serbia,
Yeah.
and so on.
Can I tell you what I feel? Um, you know, there is no lack. We're not lacking anything, and I believe it's bigger sacrifice to eat and drink than it is to just drink. And if this life is about, like, you know, it's about discipline, really, in my opinion. So if that's what you want to learn how to really be in control of yourself and your life, then um, I would just do whatever I feel is best and stick to it. Now, if you feel like you want to give up food completely, sure. I mean, you know, that can be your choice, but I would do it from a place of love and okay, it's not serving me anymore. Now, the pleasure with food is not gonna come seriously when you're eating every day. I would say 1 day, 2 days a week, you can enjoy the food. That there is some pleasure, and still there's a little bit of pain, a little bit, not too much. You will have to learn how to eat properly.
I would rather not enjoy food than enjoy food, because I get cravings if I enjoy food.
Exactly, but this is no. Okay, this is within the first few weeks. You get over these few weeks, and the cravings will be completely under control. You will feel like you will feel really in control of both fasting and eating, and you will say, "Oh yeah, it's actually pretty easy."
See,
It's very hard at the beginning. I've done it many times where I wanted to start, you know, maybe eating 1 or 2 days a week, and it takes me sometimes months. This is
I
a
even
strong
tried like
indicator.
eating really the food I don't like, and I still had pleasure from it. Like I had like those like sour apples that I don't like to eat, and I had those for you know, lunch, and then I had some um, dandelion that I, you know, foraged, and some arugula, and you can't eat a lot of those on their own without any lemon or whatever, you know. So I still enjoy those even though I hate them. So it's very hard not to enjoy food. It's impossible. And yeah, I mean, I can't do that. I can't leave food, and I don't think it's really you know, fair to just not neglect the body. I would feel kind of guilty about it. Like I don't know, if I like devoted myself to God completely and still, you know, quit my job, and I don't know what would happen. I would most likely end up homeless and whatever.
Yeah, you want
But
to have a good plan for yourself. You know, you have to. It's about managing our lives. You know, succeeding on massive fast. Is really a reflection of how successful you are at managing your own life. I feel.
and if yes, especially because I read so much, you know, like philosophy and Christian texts and Kabbalah and Tao and, you know, everything really. And in Tao philosophy, they say that the body is immortal, that you can sustain your body forever.
well, we know that the soul doesn't die. That's like something that's known all along. The soul doesn't die.
Well,
It's energy.
I don't even know that. I'm
Yeah,
not sure about that either,
the soul
to
never
be
dies.
honest.
The physical body
Well, I was asking if you if you sleep at night because you're leaving your body every night in your dreams. Where are you going? You're going somewhere, aren't you? Whether you remember them or not, you're traveling, and you're not using your body to travel. So this realm here is we came here by choice to experience the touch, smells, taste, and the seeing things, and we came here for all that. And um, you know, some people believe that without any of those, you can't be in a joyful state, which is the furthest thing from the truth. And that's what you're talking about. You know, once you tap into the what we call the limitless realms, you can't even compare anything with that with what's on this plane here. It's just there's no comparison. So we can enjoy both because we chose to come here. We have the free will to choose to um, not interact with anything here or interact with it. It's the choice is always yours on how you want to do it. Um, you know, to work on what we call breatharian type of lifestyle, pranic, plasma, light. When you're on full MFS, that's what that's the feeling you're getting of being in that state. That's why everybody feels freaking amazing when they're in that state.
I'm being consistent
Because
with the
we're
drive.
working on the fields versus working with matter. Even though we're using certain things that are material, they're dead according to life on this planet. There's nothing in them.
And the dry will take you further. I mean, there's the dry, and you can do the seasonal slowly, you know, increase your
So
dry.
if you know if that's your vision and your emotion and intent, you'll be able to work on that little by little and expand on it and work towards you know being food free. You know, but to say that you don't want to enjoy anything here in this physical plane, then you know you're gonna have to ask yourself, what am I doing here? Why did I choose to come here?
Well, if I'm completely focused and remembering who I am all the time, like 100% of the time, I'm not even talking about having the time to sleep anymore. That would be something I would like to do. I've already been there for several days at a time, maybe weeks, maybe months. I remember when I had the experience, and it just projected me into another, you know, place, and my sleeping completely changed. At first, I was aware of my dreams. I had lucid dreams, and I would sleep like in two phases. I would sleep in 2 hours, then I would had a half an hour like awake window, and I would fall asleep again for another 2 or 3 hours. This is the first thing that changed in my sleep, and I was aware in my dreams. And then I started being awake while my body was sleeping. So I was awake, and I could feel that in my legs they are like becoming relaxed, and heart beating really slow, and breathing happening on its own. And this would be my sleep, like for
And
about 4 hours. Sorry.
what triggered that change?
I don't know how it's called. I know I could describe it as a kundalini experience. I don't know any other maybe words for it, but basically like when the moon is it's like with aligned with the moon cycles, and like your some spine fluid that goes down to your base of the spine, and then it's like transformed into something with the sexual energy, and it goes back up to your spine, to the back of your spine, to the some part of your brain. I think it's called medulla. And then something like happens with your pituitary and your pineal gland. Egyptians knew about this, and you know how you see under the Tutankhamun statue how the snake goes through the forehead. Yeah, I had something like that. Like
Was this
I was.
before or after your psych ward experience?
That was before.
Before.
That was before, and I transformed like overnight. Had a transformation. I stopped being who I was overnight. So my sleeping changed. A few other physiological things happened, like I
You
couldn't.
were practicing meditation? What were you doing? Yeah.
I was, well, I don't know. I don't know what people call meditation even. I call it meditation, but I was just in my senses, aware of my senses, physical senses, you know, the touch, the taste, what I see or what I hear, being in the moment, and remembering God. I was feeling the presence with me, around me, and within me as well. I could feel the life energy, and you know, running through my body. I could feel like just being energized, and I was aware of that sensation. I was aware of the emotions as well, what happens inside my heart, and also, you know, my thoughts. So, and I combined everything into one happening. I was watching the movie all the time. This is what I call meditation, but you know, I don't know what other people call meditation, but this was meditation for me. I was remembering who I was, that I'm alive, and that God is with me. So this was what I was aware of, right? And like just my life started changing very, very, very fast. I within a week, within like 3 days after the experience, I found, or other things found me, like MFS and Arnold Barrett's Mucus Diet. Like first the book, then the page, then I read all the information, then I overnight left all the food I was eating, you know, and drugs I was taking, all the addictions I had, like for like so many years. I stopped everything, and I was like doing a vegan, plant-based 1 meal a day. Transitioned slowly into the mucusless diet over like 2 months, and then I started fasting occasionally, dry fasting. This just happens spontaneously after I had the change, transformations. My diet followed right away.
So this experience happened before you changed your diets and everything?
No,
The Kundalini?
diets is the thing that changed after the experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So the experience
Yeah.
happened before
The
it
experience happened
triggered.
before you changed anything.
Yeah.
You changed. Okay. So this is it's interesting. Um, Very interesting.
Yes, I think it's very interesting, and I studied a lot, like why it happened and all the books that were talking about it. And basically, I came to an understanding that it is just a sexual energy, and I was very, you know, tense and frustrated, and eating a lot of meat and drinking a lot of alcohol, and like so much stress was in me, and you know, but energy finds its way, and I wanted to see the truth. So, you know, maybe some kind of intervention happened, but I think I can, you know, I think everybody can have this experience if they stop masturbating and having orgasms, like, and really start meditating. You can have the experience. So overnight, the celibacy became a thing for 2 years now, And yeah, that is maybe the most important part, because you can feel like the change when you eat, right? Right away after you eat, the sexual energy that needs to go here becomes stuck, and you feel the carnal desires,
Oh, yeah.
for sex, for
The heavier you eat, the more you feel
eroticism.
it.
Yeah.
But
Not
that's what's been written about these experiences to be celibate and blah blah blah. But what if I were to tell you that in the limitless realms everything's possible, and once you tap into that energy source, it's limitless. So these books that are written have limits. They say that you can't have sex because you're going to spew out your energy and all that. And what I'm saying is not in the limitless realms. In the limitless realms, you have abundant and limitless energy to tap into. And these are just belief systems of people who wrote these books. That's all they are, experiences. And they have truths to them, of course.
Because they're addictive. Desires are addictive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
but
food and
so, from what we know through our experience, through all our experiences, is when we put materials things through our body, they affect us. When we have certain thoughts, they affect us. When we have sex or not, it affects us. So we can work with all these things to support our intent and emotion of where we want to go. And that's all we're doing in Masterfast. And it's focusing on what? Removing obstructions. And I put, what are obstructions? Obstructions are also belief systems. We got to remove our belief systems. We got to purge our freaking belief systems, because we all have and grown up with a lot of them. I love Sadhguru. What he says is, if you start anybody young enough, you can make them believe anything. It's true. Indoctrination. You can make people believe anything. They will kill. You can program somebody from a young age to be a killer, and they will be an efficient killer.
but they can also change.
Yeah, they can change if they see the light. What I'm just saying is, these are all beliefs. That's why I don't read books anymore. I go into dry fasting and I tap in, and I want to see it on my own. I don't need somebody else to interpret it for me. And that's why I say to you guys, don't believe anything I say. Go do the experience and let us know. And we can interchange our experiences and go beyond whatever all these books are written, because they're all limits of people's belief systems and their experiences. So, in the limitless realms, there's so much out there, and it's infinite. You can go into one area of the universe or another area in the universe and can have completely two different experiences. We don't know. We really don't know. We don't know where we came from. We don't know where we're going to go. We do not know. We cannot say 100% we know.
But we know something in our hearts that we can tap in and get connected.
Yeah.
This
is the whole
that's
thing.
God, yeah. I mean, everybody knows the truth really inside, in their hearts. We're born with it.
Well, we're part of a greater understanding.
This is what worries me the most, and I get sad, because I left that place. I can understand why my friends are
Which
doing
place
drugs.
did you leave? What do you mean? Which place?
The realm, the state of being. Yeah.
You left.
And I left that place. I'm in a whole different place right now. I can't even, fathom the distinction between the two, completely different places. And I understand why other people that didn't have that experience are doing drugs, are having sex and eating their burgers and so on, because they don't know what are the
They're just stimulants.
Yeah, we were there also, so it's good that you're understanding.
That experience that you had, that you shared, a Kundalini experience, that you cannot compare with anything material experience. You cannot compare.
Well, well, yeah, and people are doing drugs and all this stuff because they don't know what the trade-offs are. You know, they don't know what they are missing out. They don't know what is the alternative cost for what they're doing. You know, they do have an alternative. I didn't know I had an alternative until I had basically an intervention by the planets and so on. What I don't know what astrologically happened or whatever, but and I I like I would just want everybody to have this experience, and nobody would do drugs anymore or eat meat or whatever, have sex. They wouldn't lose this gift. They wouldn't. And what I did basically after going out for I was released from the psych ward. I didn't know why did it happen, and I started questioning it, and I took psychedelic drugs, and I thought I was fine. I thought I thought I was doing great. I just wanted to something to show me the way, so I wouldn't be so lost like I was. I just wanted to know where I'm headed to, and I just had like the most, I don't know how to it's horrifying experience. I thought I was gonna die for 3 days from the sadness I experienced. I was so sad I thought I was die. I had a heart attack because I felt like my heart was icy, and from each heartbeat I would feel like the icicles piercing my chest. That was the sensation I had, and I couldn't like breathe from grief basically for 3 days. And I was just asking God, like, why, how could they do this to me? They are the closest people in my life. They betrayed me. Why did this happen to me? And asking God, how can I forgive them, or so and so on. And I couldn't handle the pain. Handle the pain. And for 3 days I was like in hell. And then I started like eating bunch of obstructive vegan junk food, and so I can numb myself out. And I started smoking weed again, and I started drinking alcohol, and I just wanted to numb myself out. So what I did is basically leave that where I was so I can numb myself out. And I don't know like if God will ever forgive me and allow me to come back to that place, because I know what I left. And people that are doing drugs, they're just ignorant. They don't know what they're missing out on,
Yeah, well, one thing I know for sure is that God is the most forgiving, so you don't need to worry about that one.
You got to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Don't worry. So what you're saying, you've not been able to get that experience again since that time?
If I go very deep into the meditation, I get like just a tiny bit of the taste. Okay. And if I really try hard, I get there. Yeah. Because from that point, from the two years ago when I had that Kundalini experience, from that point on, I have the tingling sensation between my eyebrows. Mm-hmm. And I still have the sensation going on. Like it's tingling, numbing out. Like it's like a pressure inside my head.
When you're in a fasting state, is there a difference?
Well, sometimes it's a little bit more intense when I'm fasting. But it basically intensifies whenever I'm meditating and channeling my energy to that place. So I could visualize, just energy going there, and I would immediately get the tingling, sensation that would be more intense.
So what's your plan?
Well, my plan is to try to put everything on hold, and those. I mean, my plan would be to transition very slow, which is really hard for me to do because I just want to jump back in as soon as
Yeah.
fast as I can, but I need to transition very fast. I need to work on creation. I need to have my financial security, which I fantasized since I had like 5 years of age. I was always fantasizing about having my own house and so on. I was always really enthusiastic about masonry and architecture and so on. And yeah, I guess I almost like bought a ticket, plane tickets to go to China last night because I realized it's a great opportunity to make money. Everybody's leaving China, so much job opportunities, much better salary than here in Serbia, and everybody's running from China because there is this virus that media is talking about. So yeah, perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to find a job in China first, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everybody was meditating in the Kundalini experiences, everything would cease to operate as we know it in this society, right? We'd just be all in bliss and we wouldn't have to worry about anything. We'd have to eat. So, but we're here in this plane and we're, creating all these material things and cars and computers and think it's wondrous and wonderful, amazing. You can't even come close to what capabilities of the soul is. So let's not go there. But for this plane, it's pretty nice what's been happening with technology and so on and so forth. We've been using a lot of them for the wrong reason to destruct and destroy this planet, but we can use it completely in a positive way and work with balance because we have the knowledge to do that. So it's all perspective and how we look at things and how we do things. But
Yeah.
the only thing I can suggest to rules is take things one day at a time. For break down your things clearly of where you want to go. Don't put strain on yourself, stress on your extra stresses on yourself.
Yeah, like the money, making money. I mean, yeah, sort it out.
Because right now you're still required to eat for a while, and that's okay. And
yeah, I'm not giving up food for a long time. I know that.
yeah, so we all need finances and so on and so forth to carry on and that pay our bills and this and that. When you're able to train yourself to eat less and less and less, you will see that your finances will be much less demanding for all that stuff, because you're living a lifestyle of less is more.
And also, hopefully, you'll be clearer.
Yeah,
to
you'll
get
get
a job that you love, or start something that you love.
You'll be getting clearer and clearer as time goes on, and as you fast more and more, you will have more clarity. It's a no-brainer. It happens to everybody. The more fasting we do, the more clarity comes.
Yeah, I had to experience this past few days. I had like very extreme brain fog and also like chronic physical fatigue. And I'm doing like a job as a barista at the moment. It's a cafe, and it's very busy job, but like it's physically very demanding as well because it's so fast paced. And my colleagues started noticing how tired I was and how had a brain fog, because it's a detox. I know it is, and I was digging deep, and I got really depressed, because I got really frustrated, because
You're fasting?
I was feel at the moment, yes, but I wasn't even fasting. I was like eating fruit, but I was doing like a longer weekly fasts,
Mm.
for the new moon and for the weekly moon, and the first quarter moon. And it's I got into a place where I was like struggling
So are you,
physically and mentally.
what are you
Sorry,
doing exactly now in terms of like, what are you doing now in terms of like fasting and eating?
I'm doing like 6 day 3 day 6 day 3 day fast.
6 day fasting, 3 days eating?
Yeah, 6 days fasting for the new moon, and 6 days for the full moon, and the first quarter um, is a 3 day fast, and the last quarter is a 3 day fast as well.
Ah, okay. So you're doing master fast and dry, right? Like
Right,
liquid and dry. Okay.
right. So I would end the master fast with the dry. That's what I like to do, because
You like
um, I'm not gonna lie, it's very satisfying. I get too much pleasure from breaking the dry with food,
Oh, okay.
with
So
fruit.
fruit.
So this is what I do, like doing a 24 to 36 hour to 40-hour dry at most, and I would eat grapes after that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're detoxing. That's all. And
Yeah.
um,
The heavier you eat in between, the more the detox.
like
Yeah.
I
those.
was eating like like mucusless to mucus lean, occasional cooked something. Like the other day, it's mostly fruit, like 80% is fruit. And
Are you having any sensations from the same when you were on the psychiatric stuff in that month that you were there? You having any of that feeling in your detox?
no,
No.
no, but I know it's a consequence of that as well, because my mental clarity is so much worse after I had the
That's what I'm
psycho.
asking because that's you're probably detoxing that stuff out. That is,
Yeah,
this stuff is it takes what it
yeah.
takes. Body will
I
purge.
remember. Yeah, I remember, because I didn't like wean off the drugs, which is the recommended thing to do, because I was they put me on a very very strong medication for schizophrenia, like severe schizophrenia. I read about what they gave me, and it's like haloperidol. This is what this drug is called. It's a like notorious drug, and immediately when I stopped taking it, I had the most horrific nightmares you can imagine. Like I remember one like so vividly. Like I remember like I was I don't know if I should share the experience. I was dreaming about how I was was having this rifle, like a sniper rifle, and I was shooting down like I remember this beautiful woman in a white dress and black hair, and she was like holding her like 2-3 months old child, and teaching the child how to walk, and I was shooting down the child and then the mother, and I remember like waking up in such a confusion that I didn't know what was real, and I thought I actually did that, and I thought to myself, oh my god, what have I done? I can't I can't continue to live my life anymore. And I was so like, this is what they actually describe as psychosis, because it's a real condition. I mean, the psychiatrist, and I had like the first psychotic episode when I woke up. I didn't know what actually happened and what was a dream, you know.
That's
Now,
after
And I
drug
couldn't,
psychosis.
yeah, I couldn't distinct what was real and what was not real.
I think
And
it's the drugs.
it was such a, you know, horrifying experience. And I remember like I was paralyzed from panic and fear, and my heart was like racing, and I was just, my whole body was wet. And
Yeah.
like lived on the 12th floor, and like I needed, like, if I could stand up at a time, I would jump out of the window, but I couldn't jump because I was paralyzed from fear. So yeah, I
now
lived
you
through
know.
that.
Now you have the experience of why people commit suicide, why they go on rampages and shooting people. All those mass shootings had one thing in common: they were all on psychiatric drugs.
And also
The psychiatric drugs, the technology with what they were made, this is some like a satanic thing.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
for
It's
sure.
really the worst,
Like,
worst
people who made these drugs, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they were like in contact with some entities or something, because I don't know who gave them this knowledge, because what they are making is
wrong.
exactly what they wished, you know, intended to do.
And it's
And they're doing a very good job. They are doing a very good job. I can't even.
and it's amazing how schizophrenia, you know, you were saying that they give you a medication for schizophrenia because you were awakened. And it makes you think, is this what they give people who are awakened? You know, like,
Dumb
you
them
know what I'm
down.
saying? Yeah. Maybe they are like seeing
We can-
things and they are awakening for the first time, and they're, maybe it's too much of a change. And
You know, all we can do is elevate their souls, brother, because
yeah.
they do not know what they are doing, because what they are doing in the higher order of things, they are responsible for every single soul that they're connected with that took those drugs or make those drugs. It's a horrific place to be on the soul level. Horrific. You don't want to imagine. From my understanding, what happens is these souls get dispersed into oblivion pieces until they find balance again. Could be, you know, many eternities. I don't know.
You know, yeah.
But it's not a good place to be. So, you know, that's why we talk about is let's live in peace, balance, correct conduct. And a lot of times we are going to be hurt in this material realm living that lifestyle. Be hurt, what do I mean? It's going to affect us financially, this, that, and the other thing.
Why? No, it shouldn't.
It can, yeah. And you know, we see that, and it's okay, you know, because when you live in peace, balance, and correct conduct, you know without doubt that the universe can only operate in such a way to continue its sustain itself. It can't work any other way. It would self-destruct. So when we, you know, we're so conditioned to not be in that when we're in peace, balance, and correct conduct, it's a strange place to be, because it's not taught. It's not experienced by us regularly in society. It's everything but. So it's a resistance kind of place to be for all of us.
You know, the good thing is that the change.
We have to be in a conscious state of that all the time. You know, we'll be doing something and then we have to ask ourselves, wait a minute, this is not peace, balance, correct conduct. You have to correct yourself. And that happens a lot because we're programmed completely opposite, right? Like the people who made these drugs they gave you. That's not peace, balance, correct conduct.
You know, the good thing is that, you know, the change that, you know, we go through to awaken, you know, can happen slowly or can happen fast, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say honestly, let it be slow so you can adapt to the changes and the people around you adapt to you and you adapt to them too. I mean, how many things we need to adapt? It's like you really have to take it easy. We have to
This,
slow down and do your best at wherever you are today. And that's hard to do your best wherever you are today, just, you know, at your level, so you can
yeah,
you know, be comfortable, you know.
yeah, a massive fasting lifestyle is so far whacked out compared to the norm. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, and imagine 108 days, for example. My goodness,
it's
that
a, it's
changes
a,
us. Okay, like that's a fast change, and I'm
even
not sure.
40 days is a
I was not ready for
big
it.
change. 40 days is a big change for people.
Of course.
Because it so drastically influences the way the body functions and everything.
3 weeks or more.
Yeah.
3 weeks or
So,
more.
you know, some of us will be able to handle these things, but some of us will.
I honestly haven't seen one person who can handle it properly. You know, unless you have 30-year experience behind you, yes. But because you have done many of them and you understand what you're getting into. But a
Emotion is seed. Once you understand
a
that,
new person,
you embrace all the experiences.
sure,
And you're going to go through challenges, and it's okay.
Now, the master fast is easy. I'm not talking about the master fast itself, but it's after the master fast. The lifestyle.
I never had like a long fast and a conscious breaking of the fast. So I don't know what can I expect from the experience. But in my understanding, I don't think I would be able to be in control if I wouldn't be, you know, devoted fully to God in the breaking the fast and also the fasting. Because
journey is first and foremost.
Yeah, exactly. And I was I came into realization that, I mean, this is just my experience, that the purity of your heart must follow the purity of your body. And if you detox your body more than you have detoxed your heart, your heart will pull you back when you break the fast. So you can balance yourself, you know. So you can either devote to God in terms, you know, of thinking, and start doing some, you know, service, doing some work. I would just need to, you know, devote completely. Like, I remember what I was doing before, you know. I was, you know, giving I was like, you can, like, every time you think of something you can do for somebody, you should do. Whenever you remember to do something for somebody, to help somebody, you should do that. Yeah, be in service. Like, that's what I was doing. Like, if I remembered, yeah, I could go and feed some birds. Like, just like a little bit of service would benefit your heart immensely. And if you do that, yeah, like easy stuff. Yeah. And I couldn't like imagine myself, you know, breaking the fast really, you know, in a good way without, you know, this kind of thing. Because I can't be stuck in a building for 8 hours, you know, working my shift and washing the dishes. When I should be, you know, in under the sun, walking by the river and feeding some birds. You know, I can't be doing that. I'm serious. And also,
we imprison ourselves. It shouldn't matter where you are. The grass is greenest right where you are. So if you're having to wash dishes, you can put yourself in that beautiful place in your, you know, in the limitless realms of feeding the animals through the fields. You don't have to do it physically, and you can be just in a static space. You're limiting yourself for what you just said. Because, you know, we have to function in this realm. You have to pay your bills. You got to go to blah, 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 blah. So why not be in a pleasant state? If you were put in prison, you could be in a miserable state or you can be in a peaceful state. It's your choice. Just like you were in the experience you had in that psych ward. You chose to, not be angry with these people, right? It was difficult, but you chose to be in that pleasant state and forgive them and so on and so forth, right? But what happens if you would have held anger? Try and, I think it's that guru said, try and be angry for 24 hours. He goes, you won't make 24 hours. You'll kill yourself. That energy will destroy yourself. You cannot sustain it. And then you see people, every day they're in this miserable state. And, it can't be sustained continuously. It just can't be. It's too much energy to bring an imbalance to you. To be in that beautiful, blissful, peaceful state, you can stay in that for an eternity. That's the difference, because it's a balancing state. So that's the choices we need to make. So whenever we get into these states that are off, we have to consciously correct ourselves. Like when you're washing those dishes, you get into the state, you should rather be feet.
Observe.
Change your state.
Yeah.
Catch yourself, change your state, and be in that blissful state, and go into the limitless realms and feed them through the fields. That's what your choice. You can do that.
I know what you're talking about, but when like the job is very demanding, like mentally as well, it's very fast paced, and you have to listen to your superiors and whatever managers ordering you to do all this and then do this, and it can become very it can put you out of balance. It can put you like you can because what happens is that you get caught up, you engage in some thought process, because everything is so fast, you lose your attention to everything, and I engage in some fantasies or whatever. So I don't like being in that dream-like state. Maybe I'm just not strong enough mentally, so I can work and be aware of my senses and remember God at the same time, like I can do when I'm walking by the river feeding sparrows.
Yeah, well, it's a life teaches us, right? So from this experience, you learned that this is a toxic environment, and so do your best to change your job. We're learning, right? Every experience teaches us something.
Yeah, I guess I would need to do that.
Yeah. So
And I also realized family has to go. Absolutely.
Go.
Absolutely.
Let go of.
Yeah. Like all the pleasures, emotional, everything that you like to do, like friends and family, everything has to go. Detach from all the things completely.
Yeah, well,
it's a bit big.
That's another belief system, but if that's your choice, that's the way you go. Just devote to the divine. That's number one. And
this is what I got from the Bible. When I was reading, I remember I was reading the story of Abraham. How he had everything. He had a house and he had land and he had a son, and God angel asked him to sacrifice his son, and he was about to do it because he loved God more than his son. He loved God more than his house, his wife, his land. And you can have everything. You can have a friend's family, house. You can have a Ferrari, red Ferrari driving, in the city. But if you're okay with losing it every second, then you can have it. But I'm not ready. I couldn't. I'm not prepared to have a family, and knowing it that they will, perish in some violent accident or something. I couldn't bear that, and you would have to be detached. I don't know how you can be detached and have a family. Like it's very hard. Like some people maybe can do it. I can't like imagine myself being that detached, but whatever, maybe I will at some point, and who knows where I will go, you know. I can't see the future. Maybe all my views and beliefs will change. I'm open.
Kurt, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
When you were talking about jail earlier and like taking any state into that, I was thinking, have you heard of the story of Damien Eccles?
No.
He was a guy who was wrongfully convicted and served like 20 years and did like 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. And he talks about, I don't know if I think he found it in there, a spiritual path, and was doing all this alchemy in there. And it was down in the southern states, and he was getting beaten like daily from guards, and it was crazy. There's like a 2-hour interview about it, and he was just talking about how that strengthened his spiritual path, and he would just go inward and be in a loving state. And he was apparently, through doing that, they were noticing changes within the jail from him doing that. So it just made me think of that. Pretty cool
Wow.
story.
Awesome. Yeah.
I feel, you know, with our parents, I feel like maybe with kids that are not obedient or whatever, that are not loyal or not godly or whatever, maybe the parent can let go of. But I feel that the kids, we have a responsibility towards our parents, I feel. And that is hard to let go of, because when they're older, they need us. Or even anytime, you know, they need, if they need us, we want to be there for them. I feel like brothers, sisters, it's different, you know. If you don't get along, you don't have to see each other very much, you know. But it's good to be in good you know, terms with everyone, especially your family. We are in them, you know, and born in them for a reason. We chose to be there. They can be the opposite of us. Sometimes I think, why is it that I chose to be in this family? They're like almost the opposite sometimes, I think, you know.
Of
Especially,
course. I mean, imagine just look at like my mother and me, like
yeah,
completely opposite. And I would never like allow myself, you know, to hurt my mother in any way. You know, she's calling me like once every 2-3 days to ask me if I'm eating or not.
They won't stop.
They won't stop, and I'm like, yeah, I just had like 4 eggs and bacon and fish, and I just tell her like I'm eating like all the junk.
I mean, maybe tell her slowly, you know, open up and be more honest.
No, I tried it. No.
It's just one of those cases. They're just too programmed. They can't let it go. Like my mom.
If you're not eating meat, you will die.
Yeah, but she can have her opinion. It shouldn't bother you, unless she's going to cause trouble for you again.
Well, that's the problem.
And that's why. If she's going to hurt you, then you'll have to stop her. But if she's not touching you, I would be open, and slowly she will have to swallow it. My mother,
you gotta stand for your rights. You gotta understand the rights. I don't know the laws there and everything, but you have to stand for your rights. You can't allow these people to come and do that stuff to you. But anyway, we'll let that go. Ariel said, "No pleasure equals no love. Will being that detached bring you pleasure?"
Well, that is like an interesting thing, because I like the straight line. I don't like ups and downs, because even when I had like ecstasies even when I had astral troubles, because after I stopped sleeping, I sometimes when my body fell asleep, but my consciousness was still aware, I could jump from the body and I could see myself. I could see my body. And I really was very cautious when doing that, because my adrenaline so like high, and you know, it was so exciting. It was too exciting. I didn't like that. It was too much pleasure, and I was like praying to God, you know, to how do you say, to shut this ecstasy, like to turn it off. Like I was praying to God to turn it off, and because I didn't want to be attached to that experience, I didn't want to, you know, tomorrow when I go back to sleep, I search for the experience again, because I didn't want that. I wanted to be here and now. And it's a very mild joy type of thing. Joy is peace. And this is what what I liked. And it's not like some pleasure, but it kept me balanced. It kept me completely grounded, and I just didn't want any ups and downs. And it gave me like the strength to bear anything. Like exactly what you were talking about. When you're thinking about God and you have the connection with something that is higher than your life, than your mind, than your contents of your memory, then you can withstand some serious, you know, outside forces like beatings and everything, as long as you're remembering God. So that's easy to do in a way, like, but it is really. But when I'm waking up and thinking not about God, but how am I gonna pay my bills, that all goes down the drain, you know. So immediately stress kicks in, and immediately, you know,
It's all
a
right.
fast-paced life kicks in. So this is why I was, you know, asking all the questions like, hey, what am I gonna do? I can't keep up like this, and so on. But I
Find
just
the
felt like,
balance.
yeah, I just like felt like a spoiled little brat. Like everybody's working here in Serbia, everybody's getting by, everybody's poor, but they're getting by because they're working there. They're working like crazy shifts and so on, paying the bills, paying the rent. Why should I be any different? Like I just need to suck it up. So yeah, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I know I'm capable of, you know, going through this and transitioning slowly, because everything is a transition. And yeah, I just, because what really kept me going when I was in that state is the delusion of time. Like not delusion, but like time was dilated. Like I got so much more information from my senses, that like time was really slow, and I would like just be in this presence of extreme presence and feeling the presence of God as well as my presence. Like this is the experience I was having, and I can't put it into words, like in terms of like body pleasure, because it's a different kind of pleasure. It's I don't know, just being super awake and calm at the same time, and very enthusiastic that you're alive. It's like called gratefulness. Yes, I would be very grateful. So it's a different kind of happiness. I just can't compare the two. It's very different.
Yeah, just find balance with everything you have to do to sustain yourself. And uh, when you're doing things that are, you know, more stressful, the work and so on, just find a space where you can, you know, just be content and
Yeah.
focus on the rest. Don't have to focus on that. Just do what you need to do. You work how many days a week?
Well, I work like 11 days straight.
Wow.
No, no day off. But I have the day off tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? My name is Uroš. It's pronounced Uroš, and I have like problems with my financial state, and you call me euros, like money.
Urosh.
Euros. Euros.
It's
Yeah, it's very funny.
On Facebook, you have EPOW. What is it?
It's the Cyrillic letters.
Oh, is
It's
it?
pronounced, yeah, it's pronounced euros.
Oh, okay.
gotta keep it positive, you know.
You said it translates to Italo?
No, I'm just like half Italian. That's what
Ah.
I meant when I told you I was like Italian. Yeah.
Are you half Italian? You said.
No.
Yeah, my dad is
Oh, really?
Italian.
Yeah, and your mom Serbian.
Yeah, that's right.
Where did they meet? In Italy?
Well, my granddad was born here because the Serbian government called my granddad from Italy to open some school for autistic kids.
Wow.
Yeah, he was all like the doctor and stuff, like defectology. I think it's called defectology.
Very interesting. So that would be your great grandfather or your great grandfather?
Great grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah, and so your father was born in Serbia?
My father was born in Serbia. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, Euros. This is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All is well. You got your focus and just, every day you got to put a little bit of effort. Every day, a little bit of effort. Every day, a little bit of effort. Spend that time.
Yeah. Right now, I'm like really transitioning slowly. Like I get inspired, and so I'm thinking about how am I gonna sustain myself with no food, with no shelter, with no, heat. So I started like doing very like long cold showers, or sleeping on the floor, or just fasting, amongst other things. We need to be subtracting, like what you say, like less is more. You need to like pleasure needs to go. I'm like I know it's ridiculous because I am staying here at my home with like the best fruit and the grape juice, and I'm enjoying everything, and I'm talking about how do you say, releasing everything.
Minimalism, yeah.
Yeah, but I fantasize about just abstaining from everything.
That's good. It's that we change, not just there is a long way to to releasing a lot of things in our lives, but I think as long as we're working on them. Many times I think every time I go grocery shopping and I have some plastic bags, the clear ones for the fruits and vegetables, I think about it. Okay, how do I change this every time? And I keep doing it. I keep doing it. I keep repeating it. But it's amazing because I know there is so much that I can do, but I'm not doing, because I keep repeating it. It keeps coming to my head. We have to slowly, start making time for these things. Life is so fast, and we're not making time for these important things in our lives.
Yes, exactly. And what I think should be the motivating factor is the desire to be perfect. I think that You know, people that are saying that you shouldn't strive for perfection are just comforting you. And comfort in this world is one thing that is really holding you down. Like, you don't need comfort in this world.
Yeah.
You should run away from comfort as much as you can.
Yeah.
And we have an example of perfection, in my opinion, in our history. And for me, this is Jesus Christ. Like, I read all kinds of scriptures, but for me, like, dying, really, really forgiving people that killed you, and torturing you, is really something that I need to follow. Like,
Yeah.
in that sense, everything that he preached, like, really resonates with me, and I think this is the model that we can become. I think that it is a metaphor that we should take responsibility for ourselves. This is the path of Christ, taking responsibility for your action.
Absolutely. Mhm. God. Yeah.
Yeah,
The path of God.
yeah. God when human is an empty vessel, empty GI tract, empty heart, then the Holy Spirit really, like, fills you, your whole being, and you're not like your personality anymore. You lose all your contents of who you are and become only empty vessel. This is like the goal that I want for me, to become empty vessel. Just watch the movie unfold. And yeah, I was having just forgot to say about my mental brain fog, and chronic fatigue. So I thought about, like, okay, this is a good opportunity to maybe eat some obstructive things. So, if just to remember, what I don't need in life, so I ate some peanut butter. I didn't like the taste anymore, and it completely, like, ruined my kidneys. I know because, like, when I took a pee pee, like, it burned, and I had, like, pimples coming out of my face. So I know my kidneys were stressed out from the peanut butter, and I haven't had that in like 2 years. And I also tried, I guess I tried some bread, and I tried some fish, and just completely different tastes. Not, they don't taste like I remembered they did. So yeah, I already lost that kind of pleasure.
How long
Sorry?
how long have you been doing this lifestyle of massive fast and eating some days, fasting and eating? Has it been a month, 2 months?
Or maybe this 6363. Yeah. So I've been doing it for maybe 1 month,
Nice.
and I did, like, I just can't be committed to like a really, like, even now it's not the accurately 6363. Sometimes it's like 4 and 5s and
Yeah, but
3s,
you want to 6'3". You're aiming for 6'3", right? 6'3", 6'3", right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, any routine, just get into a routine, slowly, I would say.
I guess.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get used to it.
Yeah,
Well,
you may have to adjust here and there until you say, okay, this feels good for now.
yeah, well, I had to eat heavier food. That this is like some it's frustrating for me because in a way because I couldn't really work. I was not in the condition to go to work from the detox.
Yeah, you
It's
have to slow it
I
down.
know. Yeah, I had to slow it down with some peanut butter and fish, whatever.
You can
There's-
slow it down with other things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do peanut butter.
Big
yeah.
salads.
Yeah, never do peanut butter, guys.
Yeah,
You can use
too heavy.
cooked squashes and stuff. There's many things you can use.
Yeah, like quinoa, chickpeas on your salad. This is heavier. This would fill you up. Make vegetable stews. Maybe add chickpeas.
But
if you
peanut
want
butter,
to.
if it's pure peanut butter, it's just because it's fat
Peanuts?
protein, but
Peanuts is
they're heavy. But there's a lot of
So
peanut
much
butters are
protein.
made with all kinds of junk in them.
But just peanuts. Just peanuts.
No, I had only it was only peanut butter and salt. That
Oh.
was
Yeah, too heavy.
No, because there's some that have all kinds of ingredients
I mean,
in
these
them.
days, health food stores, you go to a health food store and it shows you how, it makes,
Just
you
peanuts.
you can make your own peanut butter right there and different butters.
yeah, and it really ignites the gluttony inside you. It's unbelievable. I just
Anything that
and
blocks
protein.
you, anything that blocks you is addictive. It's just, I've done it many times. The more obstructive the food, the more addictive it is. Peanut butter, it doesn't move, just imagine it's on a plate, it doesn't, you have to really clean it,
Fats, I think, are a little more obstructed than the proteins. And if you look at how the avocado market is skyrocketed in the last 5-10 years, and I don't know if you guys have heard about what's happening in Mexico, that because they were doing so well, the drug lords were moving in, trying to take over the businesses, and they had to fight back. So just think about what's
unbelievable.
attached to that avocado, all that.
Avocados are about $1 here in Serbia, and which is I could buy 2 kilos of organic apples or 2 kilos of oranges.
That's
Exactly.
crazy.
I'm just saying, look what's attached to that. All that war, the testicle.
Yeah, and I tried avocado maybe a month ago for the first time, and I hated it. It has absolutely no taste. It just feels like oil. And if you don't add lemon to it, it tastes absolutely disgusting for me, if you ask me.
Addictive. It's very addictive.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I was like, what's up with this fruit? Why is everybody talking about avocados? Why would you ever eat that? I don't know.
It
People are
also
crazy.
depends on the avocado.
Yeah.
That was the hardest raw food for me to give up,
Yep.
It depends where you live, if you're used to them.
especially if you mash it up too. Damn.
Yeah.
They're addictive. The fats are very addictive. Proteins and fats, they're the most addictive.
And what you guys think about mushrooms? Because I had when I ignited the gluttony these days, I had oyster mushrooms and some wakame algae, very good combination. Wow. I just
They're much better than a grain.
And much better than avocados, in my opinion. They're
So-
not a fruit, they're not a vegetable.
They're an obstructive
they're-
to some degree,
Yeah, it's
and I don't see they're being digested at all. So
Yeah, they do digest well.
you have to cook them really well.
But so is quinoa, and it's really not that bad, quinoa, It comes out, and that's, in my opinion, that's even better. You don't want it to digest, it's not
yeah, exactly.
Like quinoa,
exactly.
I
It
think
goes
it's
out. You don't even want to
better
think
than
about.
rice because it comes out, you see it. Rice sticks inside. Bread, oh no, wheat is something else. But yeah, mushrooms, you like mushrooms because they're kind of medicinal, right?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah,
Fungi.
good for the brain, right?
Fungi farms.
For your mom, you always bring it.
Yeah, they've shown the studies, whatever, blah blah blah. People who regularly eat mushrooms every week have much less cases of dementia and Alzheimer's than people who don't consume any mushrooms.
So he buys for his mom every single week.
If you look at magic mushrooms, for instance, many cases of people having their brains rewired after going through an experience of mushrooms. So there's something in them because they're not plants, they're not animals. They're its own life.
I had a few experiences, like few were like before I had any spiritual experience, and they taught me a lot. But they are a teacher. They're not like fun drugs, like at all. At sometimes they're like ego dissolvers or something. It can be
Mushrooms?
very painful, yeah, because they really get you to see the mirror of truth.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and this is exactly what I took when I got out of the psych ward. I took mushrooms and I took some LSD with them as well.
Whoa.
And just my like all my emotional, they are enhancers, not just sensational, like you see colors so bright and you know, a sound is very beautiful and so on, but they enhance emotions.
What?
And all that is buried, all there is that is buried really deep down, even though you feel like fine before taking them, they enhance something that is buried, like very deep down, and
They're
is like,
powerful.
yeah, especially I took a larger dose because I just really wanted to, you know, find a way, you know, whatever. Big mistake. I was not ready.
How many did you take? How many grams?
I took like 2 grams of dried psilocybin mushrooms and about 100 micrograms of lysergic acid.
Whoa. There's one guy, he was talking about once you really want to experience mushrooms, he does like 30 grams plus. I don't know how, but
Well, that would be a nice experience because it's a closed eyes experience. It's, you're not consciously awake in this realm. It's really fast. You're like asleep and you're having a dream. That's like 30 plus grams.
yeah,
And like when you eat like 2 grams and do like 100 grams of LSD, and you're like really in between two worlds, and it's very, it's kind of painful. It's not it's like you know, when you have how do you say, like depilation wax on you, and you like go very slow, you don't let go very fast, right? You do understand what I'm talking about? Like the 30 plus grams, you're there very fast, and you don't go through that process of experiencing the pain. You're just there, you know, you're hanging with Christ or whatever.
yeah, what he claimed is there's nobody's died on mushrooms, and you can take your whole body weight and it won't kill you, is what he was saying. But I don't know if anybody wants to try that. Mushrooms are very interesting. It's just another, like everything on this planet could be used as medicine, right? If you use it prudently. And they are, you know, teachers, as you said, they're another teacher, form of teacher, just like all the plants. And they're not addictive. It's one of the illicit, illegal drugs that's not addictive. You can't get addicted to mushrooms. Nobody wants to go on, oh, I'm going to do another trip tomorrow. No, man, you're going to take a break for a while. So they're not addictive.
I didn't have any ever since. It's been a year.
This is what I'm saying. You know, you don't look forward to doing another trip right away. You do a trip and okay, you're good for a while.
Exactly.
It's safe, very safe. It's, you know, it's not a drug. It's another form of teachers. Awesome. So, yeah. Anybody else experience them? Yeah. They're good. You're back, Steve.
Yes. How are you?
Good.
This is, I'm on my phone now. This is really, you guys are really small.
Very good.
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Yeah. It's my annual AA retreat weekend.
Awesome.
Nice.
It's 75 guys here, no fights.
Awesome.
Wow.
We got Ariel cooking a storm for us.
What's that?
Ariel's cooking a storm.
Good.
Is that a big Corningware pot?
What's that?
No, I'm asking Ariel.
No.
Yeah, I used to have one of those.
What did I unmute?
I got rid of everything except that small one where you sent us the lid.
That's my kidney tea.
Yeah, I used to have all the whole set.
I don't know how to do this.
Do what?
No, we already
Oh, you-
unmuted you. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Hi. That's my really big kidney teapot.
Awesome.
So yeah, I just cooked up that batch this morning. It was sitting all day, so I had a cup this evening, and I'm good for the next 3 days or so. I like to make a big pot, and then you know, I strain it and I bottle it and I put it in the fridge.
Very good.
And depending upon how I'm feeling, I might have it iced with lemon, or I might have it hot, you know, but it's always yummy.
Yeah. Any which way.
I have lung herbs in there as well. And I'm waiting on my Amazon order. I ordered some milk thistle and something else I can't remember to support the liver. So hopefully I can stop getting so sick doing my kalimas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there's a few people have experienced that, but not ongoing. Short
Yeah, it
term.
goes away. For me, with the
How long has it been going on with you?
It happens every time, and usually at the very end.
How long has it been? Have you been using it?
Year and a half.
Every single time?
Did you have that with enemas?
No, not every single time. I would say 9 times out of 10.
Wow.
I know, right? That's why in my last post, I was, you know, this is getting old.
Did it happen with enemas as well?
Well, I have yet to figure out how to do an enema successfully. So I'm a Kalima girl.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, you know, I used to have also sickness feeling with enema. I wasn't doing colimas back, but I was doing colonics. I remember some enemas were like, I used to feel just so sick, and it happened for a while, for a few months. It's just the body is trying to release something, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, usually most likely in the liver area. That's why I'm suggesting to try that with the liver herbs. We had a woman do the concoction with the grape juice and a bunch of liver herbs. What else did she put them on? A bunch of liver herbs in the juice. She drank that every day for a few days, and she also put them on lemon blast, and I think that was it. Just focusing on that, and he released tons of stone, and his issue was resolved. So I'm just thinking there's something going on in your liver, an obstruction there. You need to move it out. So try, going for these bitter herbs, really bitter, and for the liver area, and see if that'll help move things and clear it up.
Yeah, hopefully it will. I
also
blame my inconsistency. I never claimed to be that consistent. You know, I do a lot of master fasting. I do a lot of screwing up. Hopefully this year is going to be a little different for me. You know, I've been living the lifestyle since the end of 2017. So you think I would be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right?
It's okay. Everybody's got to find their way. Also, you can do some castor oil packs on the liver. 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off.
Yes, that's definitely a good idea.
Work with it. There's something, you know, needs to move out, I think, that area, because you shouldn't be able to be doing this unless you're really going to like a lot of fats and stuff, a lot of proteins when you're eating. That's going to be really hard on the liver.
Yeah, not proteins, but fats definitely.
Yeah.
So, and I know that they're obstructive, so that's why.
Yeah.
And fat is harder than protein, in my opinion.
But
Yeah. bit hard.
Listen, yeah, I'm cooking dinner for the family, not for me. This is day 4 for me.
Awesome.
So I'm at a crucial time where I need both hands and all my attention to the food.
Yes.
Go for it.
I'm gonna meet myself again and continue to listen in.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Thank you.
So yeah, just keep working away at it. You'll find what the cause is eventually. It's not fun when you have to go through that. That's a long time to have that challenge. But
Yeah, that's a long
sounds
time.
like the liver.
But
Something's
you know,
going
I
on.
mean, it's also, you know, if you're not, you want to be consistent with fasting and clean eating, because if you're not, it's not just detoxing. I mean, the old stuff, it's detoxing new stuff too, right?
Yeah, instead of the fats, go with the proteins instead of the fats.
Like protein, meaning what? Like chickpeas and
Whatever, yeah, the
lentils.
chickpeas, lentils,
Yeah.
something that's not going to be as
Yeah,
destructive.
you know, I make a lot, like all the food that I make, 0 oil. Absolutely 0 oil.
Yeah,
And
stay away from
it-
oils.
And it tastes good, right? Like it's okay.
Stay
Like
away
the
from
stews
oils.
and
Use other things for dressing if you want. But,
yeah, I don't need oils for dressing.
oils-
Gino, I have a stupid question. Can I ask?
Yeah, no.
Like, I know I shouldn't be asking how long is it gonna take because whatever, like
How
as
long
long
is
as it
it
takes.
going to take?
But I had brain fog episode the last few days, and I was thinking like, what if I just jump in for the 40+ day fast and maybe get it over with, if you know what I'm saying, so I can continue eating fruit and feeling fine. Like, is that something? Sorry?
If you have a very strong focus of coming out cleanly. So many people have done it, and and no.
You know what? But why would you do that?
So I'm all for long fasts. I'm all for them, but you really have to have the understanding and be responsible how you're going to be coming out. Like, if you've never done it, coming out is going to be a new territory to be in because you've never experienced it, and that's the challenge.
Okay, I have a question. When was the last time you ate obstructive food?
2 days ago.
Yeah, that's too early. You're not trained to eat clean. Fasting is easy. Everybody can fast. We can fast. We can't eat. This is the thing. We want to learn how to eat properly.
Right, but I only ate obstructive foods because I had to go, work, and I had like intense fatigue and brain fog.
But if you get back on the full master fast for a long one, you're going to get a little bit of detoxing happening and brain fog and tiredness.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, really.
If you look through all the people who've done the long ones, and they share their experiences, all dramatic, complete transformation, metamorphosis. Pain's going away. This is correcting. That gets healed. Blah 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 blah. It's on and on. It's endless. But some of them are back to their old ways, if not worse.
Of them, most of them.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Like, people are not ready.
It's just,
not necessarily went back to their old ways, but all of us had challenges. Okay, maybe Gino, you were maybe one of the least ones who had challenges because you are used to fasting.
But I've done it so many times.
Exactly. You have done long
For
fasts.
me, what people complain about it, what do you mean? This is part of the freaking journey.
Because this is for you, you have 30 years behind you, but for somebody, who's not used to long fast, it's really hard.
I'm all for it, Eros. You have to be 100% committed to the lifestyle. You go along fast, you're going to have profound changes happen.
Or do something like 5 to 6 days a week of master fast and eat, so you're not going crazy.
Even that's powerful. If you do 5-6 days a week consistently.
I couldn't even do that.
It is very
You can't?
powerful.
No.
Why?
I can't do that. Too much.
Okay,
too much fasting for me.
What are you going to do after the 40 days or whatever, 50? What are you going to do after?
Well, maybe could continue the 6-3, weekly.
And eat
4 days I can do. 5,
No more peanut butter.
too much. Never
Can't do
eat
peanut
peanut
butter.
butter. Like this is something that I wish that somebody told me not to eat the peanut butter.
Yeah, one guy, I can't remember his name. He was having gallbladder issues, and he did it 108 days. And guess what? He broke his fast with avocados in the next few days. He went to go get surgery to get it removed.
Oh my God.
He,
Yeah, it is serious.
the 108 day process is at least another twice as long as that. So you're up to a year process for that.
I mean, the protocol
If
is
you're
strict.
eating clean, if you go back to obstructive foods, you're
The
shocking the
protocol
body.
is strict for a reason. I mean, we're not responsible for any of that stuff. Yeah. So there are all kinds of stories out there, but you know what? It is yeah.
You know, the information's laid out. The people adhere to it. Most people don't. It's okay. The prudent information that's laid out in the protocol and how to break it, it's all there.
Can I ask? So there are people who regret doing their 108 or their 40 days, right?
Not many, no. Maybe I've heard maybe one or two people that actually regret going through the experience, and a lot of them that went off came back because they want to get back to that feeling.
Regret
Like you
because
can't
they
get
couldn't
through eating. No, I don't care what diet you eat.
Yeah, regret
You
because
can't compare fields with fruit or any other freaking diet. You just
regret
can't compare.
because they couldn't find their balance.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge. Even for me, 4.5 years, I say, stop lying to yourself. Honestly, I tell everybody, stop lying to yourself. Get into a freaking lifestyle, a structured one. Because you know what? You're gonna do a long one, you're gonna feel amazing, you're gonna go back, fall on your face, and you're going, it's addiction. Once you start eating, you're addicted. Don't lie to yourself to think that you're not going to be addicted to the food after you do a long fast. You're going to be addicted to the food after a long fast, whether you like it or not. It's just a given. And so what I'm saying is find your balance. If you want to really go deep and you have the guts to do that, do 5 to 6 days a week and show me if you can do that. That's going to be hard. To reach the balance with that, give it 4 weeks, okay? Do 4 weeks of that. After 4 weeks, then tell me if you like it or you don't like it. Well, we can talk after that. At the beginning, you're gonna be like crazy, okay? You're gonna be a food addict for a bit because you will tease your body every week. You're gonna eat for 1 to 2 days. You're gonna tease yourself. Okay? So you have to be loving and patient with yourself. Do this for 3 to 4 weeks and then tell me, do you like it or do you not like it? Because you're going to start getting comfortable with it. If you like both the experiences, the fasting and being gentle and eating sometimes, then keep going with that. That's hard, okay? I mean, I did the 3-day dry fast. Actually, I did only 2 days, close to 2 days dry fast just this a few days ago. And I released tons of bile and mucus. And still today, I just go to the bathroom after my colonic and I still release big chunks of mucus. And, not many, but like a big chunk without even colonic. It just comes out. I go to the bathroom. The smell of the what comes out, especially right after I broke my fast, was unbelievable. Like I really had to run to the bathroom after an hour or two after I drank, after I broke my fast. And that was just absolutely amazing. It's how toxic that thing that had to come out of me. I had to rush to the bathroom right after my client. I couldn't even talk properly anymore to my client because it was like it had to come out, luckily, she only was there for like 5 minutes. And then I was able to go to the bathroom and purge that stuff, and it smelled horrible, and it was like bile. That's deep. That doesn't come out when you're not even when you're drinking. You go dry and then you release stuff like that, and that happens on a long master fast. I did long master, like a 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 6 long master fast before, over 40 days. The longest was 117 days. And I read stuff like that on long runs. So why do you even need to go long runs? If you feel you're addicted to the food, Yeah, you're gonna be addicted to the food at the beginning until you find your comfort. Like right now, I don't feel addicted to the food, but I would love to eat sometimes, you know. And this is one thing I have not done for 4.5 years, okay, is being consistent for at least 6 months. I did say to myself twice, actually, twice. I said to myself, I'm gonna become liquidarian, okay? And that, of course, the path to less and less liquid, eventually. You know, I don't know when. I did, but I had a plan, and I did 2 long fasts where I thought I would go liquidarian, no more food, and I was completely satisfied. But then, I don't know. Sometimes you fall off, so I fell off. Um, yeah, so I fell off with both of them. It wasn't really one of them. I was feeling tired, too much detoxing. I overdid the dry, and I had to kind of slow down and get back to. Actually, Gino told me start eating again, so I started eating fruits because I got really tired. I overdid my dry. I didn't follow the protocol towards the end. I was overdoing the dry. And the second one, I don't know why I broke it. Maybe I was cooking and I decided to eat with my family. I was making food for my family, and I thought, oh, it's not gonna bother me. So I eat. I break it with fruits, and then I start eating the vegetables, and the addiction started again. I find myself eating almost every day again because I don't feel good. And so this is, I think, how I broke the second one, where I decided to become liquidarian. Again, I have not reached consistency, for at least 6 months. It's been 4.5 years. Just give yourself 6 months of being consistent, and then
It's mental. It's a mental thing for me because I can see that my thought patterns, like I say to myself, okay, now today I'm postponing the obstructive food. I'm postponing like the suffering, because I feel the craving, and I just think like I can't do this to my body. It's not fair to the body. So I don't eat what I crave. But basically, only thing that allows me to get through the day when I'm having intense cravings is like meditation and reading books. This is what only keeps me going. And if I would not be doing that, it would be very hard, because I'm struggling right now to eat less than about 60% fullness. This is very hard for me. I'm very struggling with that. Basically, I end up eating 100% full plus, maybe even 130% full, even though I'm eating fruit. Sometimes I eat a salad and maybe a fruit once again, but basically it's like a 3-hour window eating fruit and salad, maybe sometimes a little bit of cooked. I can't even let go cooked food. I have I have some cooked food sometimes, like, and these days I had like sauerkraut, and
enjoy.
it's like, so it ignites that gluttony. Oof, it's very hard.
If you buy it, you can make sauerkraut yourself much cleaner.
Yeah, I did.
Without salt. The salt is too much.
Oh.
Yeah, you can make it without salt. I eat sometimes chickpeas. I like to cook and play with food sometimes, but as long as keeping it within 3-hour window, it's okay. My body's not dying. Okay, I feel okay. I enjoy the taste. Sometimes just play with the food. Sometimes I have lentil soup. I make lentil soup usually for people when people come over, or when I go to somebody's home, and we bring heavier food, just a salad. Although the salads would be the best, raw fruits and vegetables would be the easiest on the body. But sometimes, play with it. Maybe I'm not ready to give up these things. Maybe I will never give them up. I don't give a crap. Seriously, it's time to let go of the fear of like, I have to do things this way or that way. In terms of, yeah, you know, like I don't need to become vegetarian. I don't need to become vegetarian. I enjoy food. I will keep enjoying food. What I want is to be consistent for at least 6 months with fruits and vegetables mainly when I eat. And if I want, okay, something that's not very mucus forming, then I would go for it. Usually, honestly, fats are out. There is no discussion. In my opinion, fats are very obstructive. When I eat them, I feel like I'm sweating because it feels dirty, you know, it just wants to come out of my body. Um, but other foods, you know, that are not fatty, and wheat, of course not, you know, stuff like that. Rice, no, too heavy, stuff like that. And meats, definitely not. Fish, I tried fish actually in Christmas because I baked some for the family when we had Christmas dinner here. And mm, I put it on my plate. I was like, why did I put it here? You know, no, last time. I don't think I want to eat it again. But yeah, I ate it because I don't know. I would not. I think that turned me off completely. Um,
Yeah,
you have to
it,
pay.
it feels very hard. It feels like eating stones. I mean, having stones in the stomach.
For what?
For me, at least. I don't know.
Which
I
food?
don't even know how I could eat all that meat before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know, I felt such guilt after eating the fish and, just
Absolutely.
picturing the fish, suffocating on the air inside a net.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not nice. And I don't feel much different with fruit either. Like everybody's saying, like it's karmically free, or at least.
It's karmic. I don't say it's free. It's the least.
Yeah, exactly. It's still like it's like a womb for the seed. It's like all the nutrition is not for us. It's for to make a good soil, to enrich the soil so the seed can grow.
Yeah, you don't want to damage the seed, you know, with your like.
Yeah, also like we all damage the seeds because we throw them away,
Or we chew
we
them.
don't we don't you know take a poo poo in the woods.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah. We do it slowly, you know, whatever, letting go slowly. Let your body tell you.
Definitely plants have feelings, whether people believe it or not. It doesn't matter. Of course they have feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything that's alive has feelings. It has a soul. So
Food is not for us. We're basically destroying nature when we're eating.
yeah,
This is how I feel like emotionally. I
the
don't
whole
think
thing,
that.
Uros, the whole thing is that it's generations and generations that are ingrained within all of us of eating physical foods. We can't just wipe that off. Maybe we can. Everything's possible, but it's going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of opening up and understanding, changing our belief system, cleaning up the physicality and emotions and so on and so forth, to be able for the body to be able to work on fields, and that's what we're doing, and through the lifestyle, less is more. So instead of continuously with a diet that's I got to go to a raw food diet or a fruitarian diet that's going to clean me all up. No diet's going to clean you up. I mean, it's only going to clean you up into the obstructiveness.
It's better to eat less obstructive. So maybe over the years, your body will tell you, okay, maybe I will stop eating, let's say, vegetables, and I will just eat salads because I feel better with salads. So let the body tell you. But stay from the very obstructive foods as much as you can.
Yeah, so when we choose a lifestyle of less is more, we're giving up eating 7 days a week. This just because we know it doesn't work. I don't care what diet. Yeah. And then we expand on the fasting days from there. We continue with that, and that's all we can do. So can you imagine the whole planet could reduce their food consumption by 50%? What a change that would be. 50%, if every single person. That would be even massive
but
impact.
F is a dangerous word. Forget about F. Live it, love it, be the example, and that's the best way to change the world.
Well, yeah, we're doing it. I'm just saying, if the whole planet followed suit, that would be massive. Just a lot of jobs would be lost. Then we become creativity and other things, and open up new avenues.
But let's not forget to do the work, because my goodness, there is a lot to be done individually. Like, I mean, seriously, there is so much to be done individually. Like, let's not even again lie to ourselves and think that the world is just getting destroyed. No. I can do much better. For me, I am destroying myself. The world is not destroying me. I am destroying myself.
No, it's always 100% responsibility.
Yeah.
You want to go to the doctor, get butchered up, that's your responsibility.
Yeah, so let's focus, like, let's really focus as much as we can on ourselves individually and change. I mean, we're just talking about, minimalism, and it's really like, I'm not doing enough. I want to open every single drawer in the house, even though, I moved here 1.5 years ago, not too long ago. So everything was cleaned already. But I want to go through every single drawer in the house, every single cupboard, and I want to see what I want and what I don't want, and start letting go, and simplicity. And my desk here is empty, like there's really hardly anything, and I love that. I love simplicity. I mean, part of the reason is that I don't want to be dusting all day long. I just want to clean quickly. Gino doesn't understand that.
I don't give a shit, let's put it that way, about that stuff.
but yeah, it's much easier to clean and to just not bother looking at stuff,
Well, I know I'm too soft on myself, that's for sure. Like, I could be doing so much more. I mean, how, like, we live, like, we're not aware that we could be perfect, but it is the reality. We can be perfect. We can become perfect.
What I say, perfection in this realm is not possible, but to remember perfection from where we came from, that's possible. In this realm, perfection is
you can be close.
Is finding a balance to live in harmony with everything, as close as we can get, and
close to perfection as we can get.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible in this realm. Maybe it is.
I mean, you can get close to perfection. You don't have to be there, but you have.
What is perfection? I don't know. Everything's dynamic. It's in the universe. Nothing stays consistent.
I mean, but just as close to nature as
being possible. Being one with God. I think that is perfection.
Being realized as we are part of you. So Kurt, so you feel you will get cravings are inevitable since once food goes into the mouth after a long fast, 100%. Regardless of emotional state.
Obstructions. A fruit is more obstructive than the juice, so you will get more cravings. Than the juice.
Like when you start getting into long dry fasts and then you start drinking juice, holy mac!
Yeah.
What a feeling!
Like a dry to the liquid. You're saying?
Yeah. So when you go to food, how do you get hungry? You eat to get hungry. That's what triggers hunger.
After
eating.
After a month or 2 months of master fast, most people are not. The cravings are completely gone. The only time a craving would come back is if you sit down and start looking into recipes and start looking forward to the food, or towards the end of the fast when you anticipate, prepare breaking your fast and all the recipes. Then
the key is to master fasting and breaking the fast over and over and over and over, so you understand the sensations of breaking the fast. Because as they say, it takes anybody can fast, but it takes a wise man to break a fast. We know that's where the challenge is. It's not the 108 days. Anybody can pretty much do 108 days.
Like I have, for example, now it's been 44 days on 1 to 2 days a week of eating. Some days I ate more than 3 hours, but it's okay. I mean, my aim is always to go for 3, so I'm still working on things as well. But the cravings are not here. I don't have them at all. but I'm looking forward to eat. So it's a nice feeling, you know, where I'm looking forward to eat, but I'm not controlled by the cravings. And at the same time, I completely, you know, like I agree that the food is hard on my body on the day of eating, but it's not too hard if you do it within 3 hours and if it's not very obstructive. Like I said, the fat I think would just give me like fog right here, like my third eye. I think it would kind of, you know, really obstruct me. But the lighter the food, the easier it is.
The
The
fat
less
is
the cravings.
the fat is really hard, especially when you're been leading a clean lifestyle. Like for me, I went raw for many years, and all then went to the high fat, and almost killed me. Ariel, perfection is judgment, I believe. Look at the trees; each one is perfect, no matter which way it bends and how many leaves it has. Perfect imperfection. Yep, yep. So you know, it's.
I mean, perfection can be nature. You know, going back to nature, that's perfection. You know,
allowing things to, you know, pan out. That's the perfection in itself. You just allow it. Like when we were fasting, you're allowing the soul to do its work, and everything goes back to its perfection, what we like to call blueprint. Blah blah blah.
yeah.
There's many ways of looking at it. It's when we remove the ego, I guess, out of the part in judgment, like you're saying there. Once we move that, we see everything's perfect. It's part of creation.
Yeah, it's when
Everything becomes perfect when you don't name it, when you don't name things, when you just go into observant state. And I mean, people didn't even have bodies according to scriptures, and this is the time when we were perfect. We were made of light, and look at us now. But I don't know. I'm just, you know, thinking about how much more we could be doing, and we're, you know, sacrificing all of that. I mean, trading it all for like just 10 minutes pleasure of eating,
Yeah.
and it just becomes like, it's not a logic thing to do.
Yeah. The eating itself is it's everything around the eating. You know what I mean? The going, prepare, socialize, blah blah blah, getting together. This is the where people feel they're missing out on all that, right? And because how many people just get together to have just a tea? Maybe in Britain they do, but they have discus along with it, or a juice or something, you know, or just nothing. Just get along. Nobody's dry fasting. You don't see that's not part of society. We don't come from that. So everything you do is revolves around freaking food. And this is the challenge. This is a challenge for everybody.
Maybe it just revolves around pleasure. I mean, especially in the West, I feel I don't want to be very judgmental towards the people in the West, but yeah, I mean, Serbia is kind of you know, Western Europe, but not so much. You know, it's more of a Eastern. It's in the center, so we do have like that mentality of both. But especially in the West, I know a lot of people like they are focused on the material. They are focused about the pleasure. They are focused about the comfort, and they don't want to give it up. They don't want to, you know.
People feel like they're missing out on something. That's what it is, right? The fast pace. They're missing out. They got to go here. They got to go there. Do this. Do that. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, when you're just there, you're just in bliss. Where do you got to go? You know, you got the whole universe is in your is within. So you know, we got to balance it out. You know, if we're living in this realm, okay, we balance some time with the family, this, that, and balance our time with the universe. Balance out the time with eating, balance time with fasting. Whatever you can work with that is going to be sustainable for you, and you're going to be in that peaceful state. Because if you're not in a peaceful state, you got to change something. Something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Find the balance. Always look for that balance, and it's going to be changing, ongoing. It's never going to be static. You're never going to be stay in one place all the time. You're going to come to a place where, okay, I got to try something else. You know, a few more days of this, a few more days of that, and whatever. It's a continual journey that we play with, and you know, as at the start, it's more erratic, and then it gets smoother. It smoothens itself out. and with a few erratic experiences here and there. They get less and less. But it's all fun. It's all great. It's all wonderful. I wouldn't change any of my experiences that I've had in all these years. It was all awesome to go through them.
It was all part of your journey.
Yeah, a lot of pain and suffering. You know, it was a blessing. It was a blessing. I wouldn't have learned what I know. I would not have learned by reading the books. There was just no way you're going to get the information until you go through the experiences. And you guys that have gone through, you understand. It's the experiences are going to teach you. No matter how much reading or whatever, how many people have you read this and that, 108 days, and you know, this is a lifestyle, it's not an event, and boom, it went all out the window what they read.
Yeah, the experience is different.
But you know, it's this is why we're here, to support each other in this experience and learn from each other and keep that inspiration happening, because it's not out there. Did I miss something here?
No.
Susan, what kind of sickness?
Yeah.
I get intense brain fog after enemas.
That's for the colima.
Yeah, you know, when you start stirring things up, you know, and then they settle off, right?
Like you're dizzy, you want to throw up.
Try with some wheatgrass implants and see if that's more soothing. Because, you know, especially when we're fasting and we're doing this, things are moving out, and you know, you're going to feel these things. The transverse colon is, you know, directly connected to the brain.
Yeah.
And you're moving things around.
How is the colima? Sorry, did you guys discuss it?
Did you straighten it out?
Yeah. Did you do it or not yet?
Did it? It's still awkward.
Yeah, you got to get used to it.
Yeah, I figure, I mean, it took me a while to get good at enemas, so I figure this is going to be no different.
Yeah, you just lay there and just let the water flow, and then with your body you should be able to hold in as much as you can, and then when you have to release, just clamp up the hose, you know, pinch it and release, and then just let it flow. Even if the water's just going in and out, just leave it like that. Just relax. Let the water do its washing. It'll go in wherever it has to go in, and you'll see.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that concept of that I just to relax, because I feel like it's just going in and out, and it's not really.
Oh yeah, get that out of your mind.
Okay.
Let it do what it has to do. It's not an enema, it's a colima.
Okay. So just lay there and relax and let the water flow.
Let the water flow.
Yeah, don't stop. Don't try to hold it in, or.
Yeah, you can here and there, but don't have to force yourself to hold it. No.
Okay.
I mean,
The
try
flow,
to go in as much as you can, like an enema, so you can fill up, so you can release more.
Yeah, but
Try to let it go in. Make sure it's inserted properly, so it's not leaking. You know, it's not coming out all the time. You know, make sure it's inserted in properly, so you're not releasing the water all the time, right?
Okay.
well, as long as the water's going in the bowels and it's flowing out, who cares?
No, I'm not talking about that. Sometimes when you're new to colima, maybe you're not inserting it far enough. So just make sure it's inserted all the way in, so the water goes into you, not you know, right at the surface and out. You know. Yeah.
Well, that's the hard thing, and I don't know. Maybe I've got obstructions everywhere, so it just, when I let it go.
The tip's gonna go into the anus, you know, about an inch or two, and that's it. And it's not, you know, what you're talking about, as the water's coming, it's just flowing out, right?
Yeah, it's just, it's not, it feels like it doesn't really go in all the way.
Yeah, but when it's doing that, are you releasing anything?
It's hard to see.
Yeah,
you can feel it.
Yeah, sometimes I can. Yeah.
But that's, you know, as the water flowing, it's doing this thing, that movement of water. Remember, energy.
Okay.
It's not only physical, but also the energy of the water.
Yeah. I just need to relax.
You know, you'll be able to let the water go in, so it goes up more through the transverse and through the descending a little bit, and then you pinch and you dump, and then you let it flow again, and every once in a while you just hold it as much as you can. You don't have to force, but it's continuously flowing.
Yeah, you will know.
The only reason we pinch when we let out, when we have to let out, is so the water doesn't go back up the holes.
Yeah. Ooh.
And waste,
Yeah.
because it will.
Yeah, and you will know that you are releasing from the sound of it, you know, but
Yeah.
also from the smell. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smell will be so strong that you will have to flush the toilet sometimes.
So
Yeah.
You can reach.
go through 1 or 2 buckets if you have to.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I did that this morning. I felt like I wasn't. It wasn't. I felt like it was unproductive, and maybe I'm just. I don't know.
maybe Steve has a
He's
tip
been
for you
helping me.
to this as well.
He's been helping me quite a bit.
It's,
Yeah.
you'll see after you get the hang of it. And oh my God, you won't even look at it in a bag anymore.
Oh yeah.
Right, Steve?
Way more effective.
I just finished 2 hours ago, right before this started, doing a Colima, and now I feel like I need to go do another one because so much stuff. I mean, I can feel it's up in my head, just that fuzzy. Oh,
Do some breath work.
and don't worry about it,
Yeah.
because maybe that's it. I think, oh, I've got to do something
Stop
about.
thinking about it.
Yeah, it's
Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. You put five gallons of water that's ran through. It's 5 gallons of water.
put baking soda on.
Yeah, I think I'll forego the grape. I did put grape juice in the Colima. That's okay, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think I might until I get better at it, because it splashes still. I mean, it goes all over.
Yeah,
I mean,
it did splash a bit. That's fine. That's the way it is.
It shouldn't go all over. So make sure
you know, I've got this. Little. Oh, what's it called? It's a little bump in your anus.
like
Hemorrhoid?
Hemorrhoid. I've got this hemorrhoid, and so when I release, it doesn't just go straight.
Mm,
And so,
yeah.
I mean, I hate to be so graphic, but
Hemorrhoids is just there's
yeah,
a lot of weakness in the tissues. That's all hemorrhoids are.
yeah, it splashes. I mean, I get it everywhere. It's all over. So I don't know.
make
Maybe
sure you're, against the
yeah.
dome.
Yeah, it's gonna be splashing all within inside the dome, but who cares? You're gonna wash everything after.
Yeah, I mean the dome is no problem. You don't want to be splashing outside on your feet,
Well, I'm so skinny that I don't cover the whole dome.
No, just go against it, your thighs, just
I do as far as I can. This morning I did that. I did better. So I figure each time I'll get a little bit better.
Yeah, it shouldn't come outside of the dome. It should all be within the dome and in the toilet.
Yeah, I have a towel. I put a towel down on the bottom of the Colima because it kind of hurts laying there. It's I'm bony,
put a towel or something.
That's what I did. I put a towel there, but the towel is soaking wet when I'm done.
Oh no! I mean, don't put it at the bottom. Put it up.
Yeah, the waist. Don't put it below the waist.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you almost have to be naked to do these.
Yeah,
because I get water goes.
Yeah, I always take off my clothes when I do.
All of it. I took off my pants and then I had to just shove my.
She puts his t-shirt in cold, but yeah, it's better to just if you have a t-shirt, put it up, just in case.
So all those acids that are up in my head, like right now, just that fogginess. See, I get this urge. I need to go do another. I need to do an enema now.
Yeah, like Ariel's mentioned. Yeah, if you slant it a bit on the toilet, so the water is running down.
Steve told me that today, and I did that.
Okay.
I did put it up a little bit more on an angle. But I think I get fixated on.
Let it go. Just keep practicing.
It's not cleaning enough. I know there's more in there. There's more that needs to come.
How long did it? Yeah, Steve, how long did it take you to get comfortable with it? I remember the first time you said, "Okay, I made a mess. I had to wash my whole bathroom."
Definitely not the first time, that's for sure. I don't know, for 2-3 days, that's all.
let's put it there. Once you get the hang of it, there's just
They're all up in the mind. I see so much lately. Everybody's so stuck in their heads.
I am.
All the posts I'm reading, it's like, just let things go.
exactly.
That's the word, the term anal retentive,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, it just intensifies. And the more I do, I did 2 Kalimas today. First one, I just said, okay, that's going to be enough until this evening. Right before a Zoom, you can do another one. But now I'm like, I better do another one. What am I going to do? This is not good. It's, all those acids are up in my head. And it's just, oh.
Patience.
But I did have a really good.
I don't care if you do a Kalima
Get some
for
rest.
24 hours in a row, 30 days in a row. You're not going to clean out the body. You got to
Not
go on
the
a
whole
you got to go on a fast.
know that. Over anxious.
It's,
Yeah.
it's amazing what's still coming out. Again, this will be the second time I've missed since I started because I'm not at home. But the stuff that's coming, and I mean, I had a colonic Wednesday, and I was just again in shock what came out. And then I did a clean at home on Thursday, and it's like, where is it coming from?
What are you doing these days?
Oh, I'm off a little bit this week. I'm level 3 this week, so
Nice.
because of this weekend, I'm not at home, so
Yeah.
I
So-
joined them for meals today, which I'll pay for tomorrow, but that's all right.
Yeah, no big deal.
So
Yeah.
you're doing like.
No, I'll go 6. I'm going 6. I'm going to do what you're doing. I think I'm going to go level 6 and just maybe 1 meal a week because, this is the 3rd day I'm eating. I feel like shit.
Ulrich is laughing.
I felt like shit yesterday, and I know it, and I just kept doing it. So. I think this addiction thing is forever. It's never going to stop. If I'm eating, it's never going to stop. And it's never going to stop up here. This is where it all takes place, up here.
It's a continual journey that we have to work with. And
But 1 to 2 days is enough. I think 1 day is. I did 2 days the past 2 weeks of eating.
Yeah, I was doing pretty good up until, I knew this weekend was coming, so.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Whatever.
You have to learn.
yeah, just Susan, just relax, just continue. You're not going to be able to clean with enema bags like you will with a Kalima board. It'll take you hours to achieve what you can on a Kalima board.
2 Kalimas are 20 enemas in a 2-liter bottle. So you did a lot of washing today.
I did, and I can tell it's all stirred up.
That's all right.
Just get some sleep tonight. Get some sleep.
Okay.
Tomorrow's another day.
What's that?
Today,
Tomorrow's
enough,
another day.
yeah, enough for today. Rest.
Okay.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, well, I was exhausted the minute I'm done.
It's a lot of work.
Listening to you, I was starting to fall asleep, and it's only, it was only 5 o'clock here.
It's a lot of work for the colon to release.
That's true.
Muscles.
So sleep.
I overwork it by just getting into that anxiety mode because I know there's so much that needs to be gone.
Yeah.
So much that's
You're on
loose.
the path.
You and everybody else just.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I was so looking forward to tonight, though. This is just awesome. It's been a great conversation. I'm just
Sorry, I missed it all.
I do.
A lot of progress, and that's all we can do, 1 day at a time.
Yes.
Another thing I have, another question I have, and I don't know if it's really, I think I've mentioned it before. Just the overstimulation every time I eat. I mean, the nerves, they just on edge, just, and I mean, it's really a tough thing still to eat. I do it because I need to get
Start
done.
changing the words.
What's that?
Start changing your words.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried to change my mindset today when I ate, and I knew better, but I had butternut squash soup with a little zucchini in it, and I
I
knew.
love eating, but I love fasting way more. But when I need,
I can't say that. I cannot say that I love eating anymore.
Why not?
Well, let's say, I guess I can say it, and maybe it will become true. There are times when I'll get a really good mango or a papaya, and I think, oh, this is good. This is really, really good. But after so many, I'm done. I just am, which is another good thing about my body's just saying, that's enough.
Yeah.
You've had plenty. You've had 4 mangoes. Maybe that's good. That's plenty. And that's
That's
okay.
a good meal, yeah, 4 mangoes.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to find good fruit right now, but
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. And
Get some mandarins today. What are they called? Sama or something?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
yeah, I bought some mandarins. I think, I don't know. I've eaten 2 days in a row. I'd like to not eat tomorrow. So I might not eat tomorrow. But I was really, really, really weak this morning, and I had to do a ton of meditation to bring myself back. So
Like,
much.
you brought yourself back, right?
I did.
Okay, so don't focus on the weakness. Focus on the outcome.
Okay. Yeah.
Are
I
you
just
working?
what's that?
Are you working or doing something that's keeping you busy?
I didn't work last week. I was supposed to work Monday, and we had a snow day, and then I had the plumber come and just other things, and I felt like I just couldn't quite do it. So luckily I can choose when I work. But hopefully, yeah, next week I'll take a few days and work. So
Yeah,
I got too much time to think about it.
when we're busy doing what we enjoy, that also helps.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely take a couple of jobs. I'm a substitute, so I can take, intermittent days, which is really nice. I don't have to work.
Very good.
Awesome.
All is well.
I do love it there, so. Thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Love you.
Love you.
Okay, well, yeah, we're at 3-hour mark. My goodness, marathons. It's awesome. You have,
My record's still intact. I'm here.
We have lots of fun, and we see how everybody's doing, and we see all the challenges that we all have. Everybody's got challenges. Who cares? We got to continue, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it for us? Nobody. Look what's out there. Look at the rampant sickness that's out there. Every second person I'm hearing is dropping dead, this sickness, that. It's just like, holy mac. It's never been like this. It's worse than it's ever been in that sense. And the only thing that's keeping people from that to a healthier lifestyle is the way they're living. So we have a little bit of an upper hand, of how to live a lifestyle and be healthy. We have a little bit of knowledge there, so let's use it and continue over and over and over.
Yeah, the biggest challenge I would say would be to be consistent for 6 months.
The rest of your life.
That's a good start.
6 months.
It's a good start.
You gotta just keep going. Otherwise, go back to your eating lifestyle and forget about fasting. This is what it takes. It takes work, and you're gonna go through challenges. You're gonna not feel good at times as things are purging. You're gonna have emotional stuff.
It's all a learning experience.
This is it. This is all what it is. There's no. It's not all roses. So we live it and we love it, all parts of it. And that's about it. Let's keep that plasma love always flowing, because that's what it's all about. We stay in that flow of things. We don't keep any things that are stagnant. Once we get into stagnation, eating, that's stagnation. It just builds up stagnation. So we have to have a balance and keep flowing all the time. If we continuously have a flow, it's always going to be a wonderful experience, with a few challenges. But once you get into stagnation and you fall in that trap again, It's not fun. Not fun. Just remember where you came from and understand what where you are and how you got there and where you're going. And that's it. So many people they can't even remember where they came from because it was so in an
Different.
imbalanced state. They don't want to remember it. They have to think about it. Even me, so I have to think about all the challenges I had in my life, and it's oh man, this, that, a lot. When the people are going through experience, holy geez, I was there too. I was there. So it is what it is. So we'll see you on the page. Thank you guys for joining. Awesome. Everybody's doing wonderful, and let's keep that plasma love flowing. So we'll see you on the page. Ciao, ciao.
Good night, everybody. Bye.